right. Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing Podcast. This is your host, Mr. BDA, broadcasting to you live from the true north. I got a couple of interesting things going on. Boxing is back for at least the next, I'd say about 3 weeks. And then September, we have a mega fight, rematch between Golovkin and Canelo. We're also going to have Anthony Joshua taking Alexander Povetkin. Pretty interesting fight right there. That's a big heavyweight fight. Tomorrow is the World Cup final, so a lot of things going on right now in sports. First of all, thanks everybody again for joining us. If you want to join us on this Hangout panel, you can do so by going to Google Hangouts and sending us an instant message with the email address on the top of your screen, boxingdebate@hotmail.com. That is boxingdebate@hotmail.com. Bucho is MIA again. He's got some things to take care of. This is going to be BDA and whoever else comes along. Let me tell you something. A lot of things going on right now in boxing. It was a bit of a there was a bit of a slow period, but now we finally have some boxing back. The legend Manny Pacquiao taking on Lucas Matthysse, the power punching Lucas Matthysse. I don't know what's going on. I do know what's going on, but I don't know what's going to happen in that fight. I'm very, very interested to see how Pacquiao looks. First of all, let's go back to see when was the last time Pacquiao fought? I don't even know. I know he fought Jeff Horn in his last fight, but I don't know when that was. Let's see. He fought Jeff Horn a year ago. A year ago he fought him. Let me tell you something. Pacquiao is 40 years old now, or he's going to be 40 on December. You think, no matter how good he is, you think a 40-year-old fighter can be taking 1-year layoffs like that? We saw what happened to Bernard Hopkins, and again, he was a good 10 years older or 11 years older than Manny Pacquiao, but still, I don't see Pacquiao benefiting from these 1-year layoffs. Then again, I don't know. I could be wrong. But when Hopkins was in his 40s, he was doing pretty well, sometimes fighting only once a year. So maybe Pacquiao does the same thing. I want to give a shout out to Mark Ant, Rod Davis, Foulpole Boxing, Shepherd of Sons, and FNC Bot. More people to come, I am sure. Again, if you guys want to join us, you know the drill. Go to Google Hangouts and send us an instant message via the email address on the top of your screen. FNC Bot says Pacquiao outboxes Matthysse. That is the story that I've been hearing from people. They think Pacquiao is going to outbox Matthysse. And the logic there seems to be, I'm not saying that that's what FNC Bot is saying, but the logic that I've been hearing from other people is that since Matthysse didn't look all that hot against Tewa Kiram, therefore he's not going to look good against Pacquiao, who's much better than Kiram, even at 40 years old. But I'm unconvinced here. Matthysse punches he's not Brandon Rios, all right? Pacquiao could stay away from the ring for about 7-8 months and then come back against a guy like Rios. 5 years ago, he could have done that. Now, I'm not so sure. I'm really not that sure. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about, we'll get to the Pacquiao thing when more people start coming in. But this Regis Prograis, now I'm not going to call him Prograis, like some people have been wanting me to do. In fact, he's from Louisiana or somewhere down south, so he's probably got those French roots in his name. So it's probably Prograis or something like that. If you really want to get technical about it, which I do not, I just refuse to call him the way some people are. Because I'm not even certain that they know that it's Prograis. Has that been confirmed? Again, I don't watch press conferences anymore, so I'm not even sure if maybe that's the way they've been calling him. Maybe he doesn't care. I don't know. All right. But Prograis is going to be fighting a guy named Juan Jose Velasco. I believe that's his name. And let me tell you something. I've said this before. Hold on. I'm looking up the guy's name. Why is this making so much sound, by the way? All right. Yeah, you could hear me typing. All right, Juan Jose Velasco. There you go. I'm going to be putting his record right up there on the screen. Juan Jose Velasco from Argentina. 20 wins, 12 knockouts. Not that huge a puncher. His nickname is El Pitbull. He's 31 years old. And how come I can't see the goddamn... Oh, recognize the Matrix with his generous donation. How come this sub alert didn't work? What's going on here? Something's going on. Anyway, recognize the Matrix says, first of all, thank you, Recognize, for the generous contribution. He says, Pacquiao will outbox and drop Matthysse. If not, then Pac should retire a legend. I think I agree with Recognize the Matrix. I don't think anybody can disagree with that, that no matter what happens to Pacquiao, he's 40 years old, he's fought the best, he's beaten the best. I mean, come on, are you really gonna hold it against him if he gets knocked out by Matthysse, who's a bona fide puncher? Recognize says it's Prograis or gay. I'm not gonna call him Prograis either, alright? So everybody can just stop it right now. I'm gonna call him Prograis, like in the French version, alright?
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals out here.
I mean, I gotta tell you something, you people.
Black man!
Yeah. he is black, right? Prograis. Alright, he's one of those half and half type guys. He's probably got some, like I said, some French blood in there. Kind of like Andre Ward, who's an Irish fighter. That's where he gets his toughness from. He gets it from the Irish side. Some people like to claim him. The Irish, I think, like to claim him. Black Americans try to claim him. But I think Andre Ward is a fighter of all nations, all colors, all creeds, and all sexual orientations. Because, you know, him and Max Kellerman have a weird thing going on. I'm not judging, I'm just saying they had a weird thing going on. What else? Okay, so Prograis, enough digressing here. Prograis is going to be taking on Velasco. And I got to tell you something about this Argentinian fighters. You never know what they're going to bring to the table. All right? Because Argentina, for a long time, has been a hotbed of boxing. All right? So if somebody comes out of it undefeated, it could either be a manufactured record, or it could be the fact that they're taking on such... Listen, the Argentinian fighters over there are tough. They don't have the best records, but they are tough. So if anybody can come out of there undefeated, chances are they're pretty good. I just don't know. I'm judging this on the eye test for Velasco. I've seen one of his fights on YouTube, and then the rest were highlights. But he looks pretty good. He looks like a composed fighter, good technique. He goes to the body pretty well. Again, in terms of punching power, he's not all that powerful. But look, I was rewatching also Prograis. Prograis, that's right, Prograis. He looked good against Indongo. That's the fight that got everybody talking. Everybody's like, oh, Prograis is gonna win that. If he gets into that 140-pound tournament, a lot of people are saying he already wins it. They have him as a favorite over Josh Taylor and Baranchik. All right, but I was rewatching the Indongo fight. Oh man, let me tell you that yeah, he got him out of there. Prograis did, but he was very wild too. Prograis. Okay, what? You all should recognize his comment. Which comment? The one about Prograis or Ward is a black Irish man? He's a black Irish. Literally black Irish. Actually, you know what? Andrew Ward, I don't even know if he counts as black. I've seen, you know, he's not right off the Amistad black. He's not that type of black. So anyway, listen, I'm not here to talk about fucking skin colors. I'm here to talk about boxing. Talk about boxing. Chris Gonzalez, shout out to Chris as the Pac comment. I did mention the Pac comment. What'd you get with the program, Chris? Every time you come here, yeah, we gotta back things up for you. We gotta rewind. Not anymore, man. I'm through coddling you, alright? Stand on your own 2 feet. But, what was I saying? Prograis, yeah. I don't know if he really takes the tournament. We'll see how he looks tonight. It's at 7 p.m., by the way, which is why I want to get this through and through. Hopefully, we can get this done at before 7 o'clock, because I want to see that. And then I want to wake up tomorrow to watch the World Cup final, even though I haven't been paying attention to it all that much. A bunch of fucking soccer players, overpaid soccer players, fumbling all over the football field. Oh, somebody hit me on the knee. Let me lay down on the floor and cry for 3 minutes. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. AA Boxing and Blunt says, the guy from Thin Lizzy got asked what it's like to be black and Irish, and he replied, like a pint of Guinness. Thin Lizzy. I didn't know there was a black Irish guy on Thin Lizzy. Corruption in Boxing. Shout out to Corruption. Says, all those who have contributed via Super Chat, it ain't gonna be a call-in show, but to a BDA's ever-growing German porn collection. First of all, that porn collection, that was years ago. It's not, I don't have a German porn collection anymore. So lest anybody think the corruption in boxing is being serious, he's speaking in jest. The Sherpa of Sons is Sup, Chris, Matrix. Damn, Chris, you up early again. Yeah, don't forget, Chris is living in the Philippines. I don't want to know what he's up to over there, especially this early. Shout out to Kyle Saltharak. Phil Lynott was Black Irish BDA. All right, you know what? Let's look him up. Let's see how black he looks, or how white. Conversely, let's see. Phil Lynott. Oh yeah, that's a. All right, let me put it up there so everybody can see. Let's judge. We should do a segment here on BDA Boxing. What race is this guy? Or like, what's his genetic makeup? Yeah, Thin Lizzy. There you go. What was Thin Lizzy's big hit again? Yeah, that guy's definitely got some. Look at that afro. That's not a Jew fro. That's a black afro. Thin Lizzy. Hold on a second. I want to look what. Unless anybody can tell me right away what type of what were their hits. Does BDA have a cold? Do I sound congested? Or did his ball drops? Now wait a minute, Chris. You're killing me here with your comments. You think I'm gonna have that? You really think I'm gonna have that? You think I'm gonna stand here and let you besmirch my image? You know what it might be? Either I took a shot to the nose and that's what's clogging a little bit, or it could be allergies. Could be that season is starting to take effect. So yeah, that guy from Thin Lizzy. Okay, Thin Lizzy. I'm trying to look up their fucking hits, even though nobody cares. I'm just making time here because we got 2 hours to burn. Thin Lizzy broke up in the 1980s and they reunited. Discography, Thin Lizzy, 1971. Whoa, that back. The Friendly Ranger, Honesty is No Excuse, Didi Levine. Seriously, what was their fucking big hit, man? And if somebody's gotta help me out here. Rod, you're from around those times. You tell us. What the fuck was their big hit? Alright, let's keep reading what people are saying. Rascal222 says, Lucas getting his ass whooped by an old-ass Manny Pacquiao. That's a possibility right there. Boxing Blonde says, there is an interview with him saying it. The Sherpa of Sons' ex knows all the agents of white supremacy. He started calling out people. Yeah, X called Recognize the Matrix a Satanist the other day, so make of that what you will. Rascal says, Pac past his prime, testing him is irrelevant. We need Christian BDA, says Sherpa of Sons, not violent BDA. The Quack says, hey guys. Kyle says, the boys are back in town. Love seeing older fighters, says Rod. Speaking of violence, that's what Sherpa of Sons said. We have, hold on a second, because I'm always looking through the fan mail, or, well, sometimes it's not really fan mail, sometimes it's more like hate mail, but every once in a while we get some good, compliments here. And let me tell you something, I got a comment to read for you here. We finally broke through the audience that we wanted. No, not boxing fans, not combat sports fans. I'm talking about prison fans. Prisoners, I should say. There's no such thing as prison fans. And I'm not talking about county jail. I'm not talking medium security, low security. I'm talking federal penitentiary, maximum security, 20-hour lockdown jail. All right? So we got a letter here from, well, it says, Dear BDA, King Bucho, and the entire BDA family, my name is Manny El General Ramirez, also known as Prisoner 4510771, currently serving a 10-year sentence in Folsom. I can't tell you how happy I am that your show exists. It's really refreshing to find a show where people keep it real and don't dick ride fighters. Well, we try to. I mean, we try to keep it real. Other shows do it, and it makes me so mad that I want to chop their fucking heads off. Whoa. This guy's got a bit of an attitude. Anyway, I was listening to last Saturday's show where you guys talked about controlling your emotions around women. I know all about that, he says. I got into a fight with my mother-in-law and, long story short, I ended up stabbing her in the liver with a kitchen knife. After 3 years in Folsom, I can say that I've learned my lesson. Prison ain't fun. Contrary to popular belief, the hardest part about being in jail ain't the fistfights, the asshole security guards, or avoiding being someone's bitch. No, it's the monotony. There are only so many push-ups you can do, so many books you can read, and so many livers to stab before you get bored. Thankfully, your show is there to get me through the week. I particularly like the new Spreaker feature, which allows people to download the podcast into their MP3 players. Yeah, that's right, people. Don't forget, you can download the podcast now via Spreaker. You can download them into your MP3 player, your phone, whatever. That way you don't have to waste any bandwidth. So Manny continues saying, I myself am not allowed to have an MP3 player. The last time they gave me one, I sharpened it to a fine point and used it to stab a guy in the liver. Jesus, this guy's got an obsession with that. Oh well, he says, live and learn. Keep up the good work, guys. Hope to be on the show one of these days. Yeah, well, we'll leave that up to your parole officer and stop stabbing people in the liver. Then maybe you can be on the show. All right, what are people saying here? Aram said if Pac beats Matthysse, the fight with Loma is next. Yes, he did say that. Oh, by the way, I just realized we got Recognize the Matrix on the line.
Dependent upon how you interpret the data.
What's up with all the transvestites in Hollywood, though?
Because if you're a postmodernist and you don't have any standards, you're always going to keep moving the goalpost, and you're never going to stick
all right,
to your own
I just
standards.
realized something. That's not Recognize the Matrix intro. I was reading something else when I let it play, and I said, what? Oh, man.
I was laughing the whole time.
Oh, man. Well, what's going on here? Hold on a second.
Oh, my God.
You want me to come in? We start over again, Mike?
Yeah, let's do that.
Don't get fooled when they tell you that the crime rate is down in New York. Every time I watch the local news, they're always talking about, well, there was a stabbing here, there was a stabbing there, there was a shooting there, but the crime is down.
There we go. Got it right. People are giving me shit in the comment section. What are people saying? Says, things are tough all over. Ha ha ha. Wrong intro. Even better intro. Too much yayo, BDA. I don't do fucking yayo, man. Come on. Get it together here. Who else do we have on the line? Oh, we got Stu on the line as well. Now, let me get the right intro here, right? There we go.
I wasn't bad. I told you what's going to happen, Price. I told you he's going to be sleeping. I told you the ambulance is going to come. The oxygen mask is going to come out. I told you he's going to miss the main event. I told you all them things were going to happen.
That's right, gentlemen. Good to have you on board. Always glad to have you on board.
Hey, Stuart.
What's
You
up,
have who's the picture? The two blondes.
Have I still got that picture up?
No, I see a different picture.
Yeah.
I see a different picture.
That picture there is the picture of my daughter and her mum.
Yeah,
Oh, nice. All right.
I don't see that.
She's the one that she's the one that died. Recognise.
Died. Oh, what happened?
But I changed it. I changed it. BDA, you should be seeing Lennox Lewis. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, it doesn't look like your ex-wife at all.
No.
Yeah, definitely Lennox Lewis is not your ex-wife. I know that.
Yeah. No,
You know what I
what's
love?
going on there, bro? Because it's changed on mine. It obviously hasn't changed on your side yet. That's weird.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what
weird because I see. You know, it's funny when I click on you, then I see Lennox Lewis, but then when I unclick, yeah, I see your. I guess your ex. You said your ex-wife and your daughter.
Yeah.
I love how every time somebody puts either a female name or a picture of a female, and everybody gets to get asked right away, like, who the fuck is that? Who the fuck? Remember when Boxing Style came in with his sister's name or his alias name? I don't know what it was, but it was like Rosanna or something.
Yeah, it was. I don't think that was his sister's name, to be honest. But,
what are you trying to get at here, huh? What are you
I think
insinuating?
I don't think we've heard from Cameron since, is it? You know, when he said something about my picture, and we had a little. We was only playing with him. We was just
yeah, I don't think he got it. I don't think he understood.
Trolling him a little bit, and we've not heard from him since. He didn't take it very well, and off he went.
Well, listen, in that BDA,
hanging out with X too long.
Yeah, I think that's it, man. Listen, in that Lost Canvas episode for Second Renaissance, the one that never aired, Cameron spoke about having some anger issues. So I'm not surprised. I mean, the guy's up and down when it comes to his emotions. So listen, I hope he knows that we were just kidding around, and if he wants to come back, he's always welcome. I don't see the problem here. I guess he didn't get the joke. But anyway, I tell you what's not a joke. The fact that England lost. Stu, how are you taking all of this? The fact that England, I mean, listen, 4th place, it ain't bad in the World Cup.
I knew he was going to fucking mention this, man.
I'm just bringing it up.
Away from it. Listen, I'm devastated, of course I am, but I'm a realist. You know I am. On this show, with boxing, with football, everything. I'm a realist. At the end of the day, we just weren't good enough. Our midfields hasn't got a creative bone in it. I mean, it's just shocking. I mean, Lingard and Dele Alli should be nowhere near a World Cup final. And we're playing Ashley Young left back. We just got bossed by 2 world-class midfielders in Rakitic and Modric. But I don't believe Croatia are a very good side themselves. They're very They're very methodical, and they're just a basic side for me. They don't play really pretty football, but they have decent players, and they are a solid side. But they're nothing special. And I think if we had a bit of creativity in the midfield, we probably could have won that game. But unfortunately, we lost it. And today, it weren't even worth watching. Let's be real. I mean, this third, fourth place, it shouldn't even be happening, man. They should scrap this game. It's a pointless game.
They want to make money. They want to make money with having as many matches as they can. But the thing is this, like you said, England, I don't think anybody, I mean, people had their hopes, but that was all they were, hopes. But listen, 4th place, it ain't that bad. What are the chances that in another 4 years, this British team becomes better? Can they do what France did 4 years ago?
Well, we've got the foundations there to be a very good side. Gareth Southgate got tactically just outdone against Croatia. He could see we was getting outrun in midfield, but he did nothing. He didn't change it. He didn't even change personnel. He let Dele Alli and Lingard run around like fucking chickens. And he needed to change the system. Modric was just running through the middle with no one on him all the time. And we've got the foundations there. When you look at Stones, Maguire, the back 4, the 3 at the back, and the goalkeeper, very solid. We've got Harry Kane, which is a real good striker. So there's other players coming through. So I think we can be a very good side. When you're carrying 3 or 4 guys that are not good enough, it shows in any side. I mean, one bad apple in a football team can be the difference between you winning a tournament and then going home early. And unfortunately, we had about 3 or 4 bad apples. I mean, I felt sorry for Harry Kane. We just couldn't create any chances for the guy because our midfield is just useless, and that's just that. Yeah,
but I mean, look, hey, it was a good ride, good while it lasted. I don't think the British team has anything to be too concerned about or humiliated about. 4th place, listen, just getting to the semifinals is big enough.
Semifinals, I wasn't expecting that, but I just think with a bit more tactical awareness from our manager, change of personnel, I think we could have got to the final.
Maybe.
I'm more gutted because I think we threw it away because Croatia were on their last legs. They were there for the taking. We were 1-0 up. Harry Kane misses a chance from 2 yards, hits the post. That goes in. Croatia, no way back for them. So, we were that close. That's why I'm a bit annoyed about it. When people say, oh, well, we did well, we come 4th. But to me, what's the point of being a good loser? It's still being a loser to me. I think we could have gone on to win this tournament. We could, if we'd done the things right, but we just weren't good enough at the end of the day. So that's just it, bro.
Well, King Bucho says, sorry about England, Stu. I didn't want to bother you after the loss. I mean, come on. All right, let me ask you this, Stu. What upsets you more, when a fighter that you're rooting for loses, or when it's the British boxing team? I mean, the British football team.
I mean, let's be real. I'm going to pick the football team. It hurts more losing to Croatia than it would if Wilder knocked Joshua out. I'm not a fanboy. I don't get personally, emotionally involved with a single human being. England are representing my nation, and it's a team game, and boxing is an individual sport. So you become a fanboy. When you start getting upset about anyone saying anything about Joshua or like the Wilder fans. I mean, they become deranged fanboys with no logical thinking, and I'm not like that. I would say that I don't really get upset when my fighters lose, if you get what I'm saying. I don't.
All right, that's good. That's good. Yeah. With boxing, with experience, you learn to separate yourself from. But like you said, with football, it's a whole nation. It represents your identity.
I mean, look how everyone is. I mean, even the Mexicans. I mean, the Mexicans took 60,000 people to Russia. I mean, that is a fucking incredible support.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not just that everyone gets involved with the World Cup. There's no other sporting event that touches people like the World Cup. It just emotionally and excitement and the atmosphere, just nothing comes close to it. And boxing's the same for me,
Yeah, the World Cup.
Did you say 60,000? 60,000?
Yeah, Mexico took 60,000 fans to Russia. That's not bad.
Are they all staying?
Well, they're all staying. You don't go to Russia for the day, do you? Fuck's sake.
Yeah, that Russia. It looked like the Mexican. I mean, it looked like the American
trip to Russia.
Yeah, man. Listen, first of all, Croatia, I don't know much about football, but it seems to me that Croatia, they've been stretched to the extra time 3 times in a row now. That means they've played a total of 6 hours in the knockoff stages. So
yeah,
I got to wonder if they're going to be in shape.
I mean, I recognise, have you actually been watching any of this World Cup? Do you like the soccer?
No, he watches baseball. He watches baseball, and he likes baseball for 2 reasons. One, he learns how to hit people with a baseball bat when they owe him money, and 2, he's Puerto Rican, so he's gonna be watching baseball, right? Recognize?
Of course, man. I was just kidding with that. I was just kidding with that comment. Okay.
Recognise. I got what you. I got the comment in the end, but because you're very, very low, bro, I struggle to hear you.
Sorry about that. How about now?
Yeah, I catch bits and bobs, and it's hard for me to hear you sometimes, bro. So I didn't get the joke. It's only when.
Hey, by the way,
it was all in fun. That's all that was.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm sure there's I'm sure there's fucking places in Russia that got taco stores now. Do you know what I mean?
Well, at least they have somebody to cut the grass. Man. What's that?
Tacos are great. I love them.
Sensational.
Yeah, I do. I always have every couple of weeks I go to the supermarket and get myself some meat and some tacos. You know, I love tacos, man.
Oh yeah, we all know you love your meat, but as long as it's not, I was kidding. Make sure it's Mexican meat. You're gonna gain 12 pounds of muscle after 2 tacos.
But yeah, quickly going back to that question about France and Croatia, I'm picking the French to win it. Sorry, my brother in the chat. I know he's Croatian, Dr. Steelhammer. You know, I will be cheering you to win. I just don't think you're going to have the legs. France are a solid outfit, and the difference between France and England is France have got that quality going forward and creativity, and we just ain't got that. So I think the French are going to be a bit too much for the Croatians.
Yeah, this looks like it's France's tournament to win. So,
by the way, I don't follow soccer, but so I don't know which team will like. Supposing from what I've been hearing, this finals is like a shocker. Like these 2 teams weren't the teams that people expected to make it. Is that true? Like all I kept hearing was, you know, in the beginning it's going to be Portugal versus Argentina, or Argentina versus Spain. I never heard these teams.
I heard France. I did hear some people saying France, but I don't think anybody expected Croatia.
I think on our video I picked France to get to the final against Spain.
Oh, you picked. Okay, so France was like not a team that shocked you.
Yeah.
France are definitely up there as one of my favourites anyway.
Yeah,
the Croatians though, the Croatians were pretty shocking, I guess.
No, the Croatians are a solid unit. They are a very solid unit, and they're quite solid in every position. You know, they don't have any weak links like England. Like I said, we got 3 or 4 that are real weak links, where Croatia haven't. They're quite, and then when you've got Modric and Rakitic in the midfield just pulling the strings, you've got a chance, haven't you? You know.
Yeah, those guys are world class. World class. And by the way, Chris Gonzalez in the chat room was asking whether the Philippines even made it to the World Cup, because he didn't know. And no, they didn't make it. But here's the thing: in not the next World Cup in 2022, the one after that in 2026, it's gonna be co-hosted by Mexico, the United States, and Canada, and they're gonna have how many teams now? 40 something.
Damn.
Yeah, they're gonna be adding at least 12 more teams. That means you're going to be seeing countries that never would have made it to the World Cup. All of a sudden, they're going to be playing there, and it's just going to be, I think it's going to be 3 teams per group instead of 4. It's just going to be a whole mess. Let me tell you something. By that time, I'm going to be done watching the World Cup. This World Cup was the first one that I really didn't pay that much attention to. I'm starting to be a little done with football, to be honest with you. But hey, I was never really that much into it. I tell you what I'm into. I tell you what I am into. Manny Pacquiao fighting the very dangerous Lucas Matthysse tonight on ESPN Plus. Not ESPN regular, ESPN Plus. Guys, what do you think? Let's start with Recognize, because we were talking fucking football here for a while. Recognize, what do you think about this fight? Easy money for Pacquiao, or is it going to be a little tougher than expected?
I'm going to say it's going to be a little tougher than expected. If this was a couple of years ago, I'll take Pacquiao to beat him pretty easy, right? Which could still happen in this fight. It could still happen. But I'm just going to take that Pacquiao, who's 40 now, right? 40 or going on 40. He has lost something. And the one thing that Lucas Matthysse does well is that if you're going to, and Pacquiao will do this, Pacquiao will exchange with him. If you exchange with Matthysse, you're going to give him opportunity, although I think Pacquiao's still good enough to get the best of it. So that's what's going to make it tough. I don't think Pacquiao will. What I think he should do is fight off the back foot a little bit, give him a lot of lateral movement, and just outbox his ass. Something like what he did to Brandon Rios. I don't see that Pacquiao, that kind of Pacquiao going into this fight. But I say he still beats him easy on the scorecards. I say he's gonna have problems, of course, in the fight. He might even score a knockdown, but I don't think he'll knock him out. I hope he does, but I don't think he will.
So you're going unanimous decision or
unanimous decision with a knockdown? Pacquiao knocks him down.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna say Pacquiao drops him at least once.
I tell you what, though. I tell you one thing. One thing here. Pacquiao has always been susceptible to body shots. Like he puts his hands way too high, leaves his body open, and he has been hurt a couple of times. I remember Marquez hurt him with body shot in the second fight. Margarito hurt him with a body shot. Who else hurt him to the body? There was somebody else, man. Was it De La Hoya at some point? I think De La Hoya hurt him a little bit, not too much, but I think he caught his attention with a left hook to the body.
Comes to mind.
Morales, yeah.
You know, 130 Pacquiao, 130-pound Pacquiao.
And Matthysse is a pretty good body puncher, so I don't know, man. Stu, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this fight? First of all, are you guys even interested in this fight? Like, does it excite you? I mean, it is Manny Pacquiao, after all.
It's because it's Manny Pacquiao.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's Manny Pacquiao. Of course, I'm going to watch it, but, you know, if anyone tuning in expected to see the Pacquiao we saw against Hatton and Cotto and all them, just forget about it. This guy's long gone. I've said this for ages. But the thing about Lucas Matthysse is this guy, when you put it on him, he folds. He goes into his shell. He doesn't like being hit back. He's a typical bully, the puncher, that likes knocking people out and likes it when it's going his own way. But when it's coming back at him, I've seen him fold a few times. You know, he did it against Postol. You know, Danny Garcia was a decent fight, but he got beat up in that fight. You know, I think Devon Alexander beat this guy? I think he did, didn't he?
Like officially, but a lot of people, you know, Matthysse should have won that fight. I thought he won that fight.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
Matthysse, I thought he won that fight.
I've just seen, I don't know with Matthysse. I think a lot of people talk about like this Argentinian warrior, like Carlos Monzon or someone. He's not that guy, you know. He gets outboxed. Anytime he steps up against world-class fighters with a bit of boxing ability, he gets totally outboxed. And Manny Pacquiao still has enough skills to make this quite an easy fight. I think he'll start hitting Matthysse with plenty of shots, and I think Matthysse is going to go into his shell. And don't be surprised if Matthysse quits on the stool.
Wow. Recognize. What do you think? Do you agree with Stu? Do you think Matthysse, when the going gets tough, he folds? He doesn't have that mentality.
I can see what Stu's talking about. Right after the, I want to say the Ruslan Provodnikov fight, looked like he lost something. You know how we sometimes we'll watch a fight and we feel like a fighter lost something. Let's say Fernando Vargas versus Trinidad, right? Like you can just see that there were certain things that weren't there after that fight for Vargas and a little bit for Trinidad as well. I saw that. I kind of see that in Matthysse, especially against Postol. Postol was hitting him with shots that Matthysse has taken before. Now I get that Postol is probably a bigger man than most guys Matthysse has fought. However, I did see him get hit with bigger shots and didn't fold. But after the Provodnikov fight, he looked like especially in that Postol fight. Like Stu says, once you start putting it on him, it looks like he doesn't have enough to continue to keep fighting back like he used to, and he folded up that one time. His last fight, he didn't look so good. You know, I didn't think he looked so good. He won by stoppage, obviously, but before that, it looks like he was having a whole lot of problems with that. What the hell's that guy's name? Kiram,
yeah, something like
that. Yeah, something like that. Whatever. It looks like the guy was giving him a fucking problem. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen. When you talk about the guy being a quitter, I mean, Matthysse has got balls because he was losing the Garcia fight and he still kept coming forward. He was in deep trouble against John Molina. I mean, not John Molina, John Molina Jr. And he kept coming. But against, that Postol fight is the one where a lot of people say, oh, he quit. He mailed it in. I don't think he's on the level of a Victor Ortiz where he's quit.
He's not a Zab Judah or a fucking Hopkins or anyone like that. Don't get, but this guy, when you start putting it on him, he folds. I'm not saying he folds where he's just quitting on his stall all the time and, he's turning his back like a Hara Davis. I'm saying his game plan goes out the window. He goes into his shell and he just covers up and takes a good hiding. He just doesn't really, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
This guy, this guy, I mean, I think the only decent performance I've watched from this guy was against Provodnikov. But Provodnikov's got no boxing skills. I mean, Matthysse looked like fucking. Well, he looked like a skilled technician in there, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's the only really good performance I can say I've seen from Matthysse. He's a strong boy. Don't get me wrong, and he punches very hard. But Manny Pacquiao still got enough in him to deal with Lucas Matthysse. I'm positive about that.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Pacquiao's 40, right? But we just know that it's whatever he's lost. We just know that it's still much better than what Matthysse brings to the table,
or rather, what Matthysse lost himself, right? Because he is 35.
Well, yeah, that's true. That is true. He did. You take the two. One is Pacquiao's 5 years older than Matthysse. However, the skill gap is such a right. Like if they would have fought 5 years ago. Come on, that means that Matthysse would be better too. But we just know Matthysse didn't have the skills to compete with Manny Pacquiao. He would have got beat up,
I mean, my good friend in the chat, Rod T. Davis, doesn't agree with me. He thinks Matthysse got balls, and I see where he's coming from. But when you look at the bit, you see bits of Matthysse showing his balls. But then again, you see bits of him.
I'm going to take that out of context. I'm going to take that quote out of context.
He's flashing his balls now and again.
He lets his nuts hang like
Lucas really shows off his scrotum, and I really think what are you talking about? No, but you're right. I mean, he does. Look, there's a spectrum of heart in boxing. You got guys that will quit the minute they get stuff. Then you guys that are tougher than the average man, they'll stick it out. But if they break a facial bone or a knee injury or something, they'll quit. Then you have crazy motherfuckers like Antonio Margarito, Diego Corrales. They'll keep going no matter what happens. You have to kill them to stop them. And those guys are in a league of their own. But Matthysse, I do agree with Stu. I don't think he's a complete powder puff. But Pacquiao, man, let's look at the stylistic matchup here. Pacquiao still has fast hands. He still has power. I would say comparable to Matthysse. Matthysse just isn't as fast with his shots. And like I said, against Kiram, that Thai fighter, he used good footwork and he kept turning Matthysse. Matthysse really looked awful. He couldn't reach the guy. Now, granted, Kiram looked like he was 2 weight classes bigger or something. I mean, so maybe that had to do something to do with it. But yeah, Matthysse.
Prime Matthysse got totally schooled by Danny Garcia, right? And I know Danny Garcia is a top fighter. I'm not saying he's not. It's not like I'm, saying that's a bad achievement sort of thing, because he's going to do that to a lot of fights. But Danny Garcia has been outboxed many times. I mean, he scrapes wins. I mean, even Zab Judah was putting a fucking beating on him, for fuck's sake. So Danny Garcia is there for the taking. I've been saying it for years. He's there to be outboxed. But Lucas Matthysse made Danny Garcia look like a prime Sugar Ray Leonard.
You know what? There's some truth to that. I could see what Stu is talking about, because even though I thought the fight was really close, I thought that was a close fight. Danny Garcia did look like a sweet boxer in that ring against him, though. You know, I think that if it wasn't for the good foot movement in that fight, the good combinations in that fight from Danny, typical fight from Danny, he would have lost. He would have lost that fight. But it tells you that Matthysse is dead to be outboxed even in his prime. I think that's what Stu is trying to say, that even in his prime, he's there to be outboxed. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's interesting because that, first of all, that's still Danny Garcia's best win so far. That's his that's the jewel in his crown, and that was 5 years ago. This September it's going to be 5 years. So that goes to tell you
I actually picked Matthysse to win that fight. Danny
everybody
Garcia
did. Everybody
surprised
did.
me, but
me too.
Yeah.
But
the problem, I mean, what we saw that night is how limited Lucas Matthysse is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big puncher, but with his punches, I mean, even his punching power, he's a big puncher, but is he he's not a Deontay Wilder puncher where he's going to pull one out the bag when he's getting beat up, you know, and knock this guy clean out. He ain't going to do that to anyone. He's not doing it to people, and he's not. You know, he's a strong puncher where he wear you down. But when you're on top of him already and he's losing his stamina and he's gone in his shell and he's feeling sorry for himself, them punches are not coming out the bag. He just folds up and basically curls up and takes his beating. And that's the way I see Lucas Matthysse. He's not that guy. I mean, you keep hearing about this massive puncher, Lucas Matthysse. He's not that guy that's going to pull out a Deontay Wilder knockout. He's not going to do it. Not against world-class fighters anyway. Especially not against Pacquiao.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. He has above average punch. I would say he has between 90 and 93% type power, but he doesn't have that 99% where like he just ices people. Well, he can do it to lesser fighters, but when it comes to the cream of the crop, he really has to find a good spot. And listen, here's the thing about Matthysse. Well, first of all, let me read a couple of comments from the comment section. Chris Gonzalez says 40 is a new 30. CDM Boxing Report says that Matthysse has lost a lot of snap and power in his punches. I think he's referring to Matthysse. Rod T. Davis says, good old Stu. Sakib Rafik says, any good undercard fights? Yeah, I think there are 2 undercard fights. Chris Gonzalez says, BDA, if my hand wraps are too tight, I quit. You got to stop wrapping them around your balls. I think that's the problem right there. That's number 1. Now, Rod T. Davis says, Lucas and Danny. Okay, this is what I wanted to say about Matthysse. Isn't it interesting how he built his mystique, really, by getting robbed, or arguably robbed, against Judah and Devin Alexander back-to-back on HBO. Then he beat up Humberto Soto, who was a pretty good lightweight, but not really a junior welterweight. Then he knocked out that Mike Dallas Jr. and Peterson. After the Peterson fight, when he's stopped him in the 3rd round, still his best performance, I would think, of Mathisse's career. That's when everybody started going crazy. And at that time, it was Golovkin who was coming up in middleweight as well. So people were saying that Golovkin and Matthysse were the 2 most scariest fighters. Yeah. And Golovkin kept on going, and Matthysse. Was that?
Pete dropped more times than fucking Jenna Jameson's knickers, man. You know what I mean? How many times has the guy been dropped? Victor Ortiz was dropping him all over the place.
Peterson might have been a weight drain in that fight.
He probably was.
Looked like something was wrong with him in that fight. Because think about the punches he has taken in the past. Not saying that I'm not taking nothing away from Matthysse, and Matthysse is a hard puncher, and credit you got to still give him credit for that. But it just looked like something from what I remember the Lamar Peterson fight. I remember going into that fight thinking this was going to be a good scrap. It should go the distance, or if it stops, it stops late. He just blew him out like he was nothing. Like Peterson he didn't offer no resistance at all. He went down, and that's it. He went down, he got back up, and went back down again, and the fight was over.
Yeah, that's true. It's Peterson just looked like he had nothing on his punches, man. Again, maybe that
what it is with Peterson, I think if you're a real big puncher, then Peterson don't stand a chance against you. He has to. he has to. He sort of like works his way into the fight, Peterson. You notice he's always down early, and he taking a beating early, and then he finds his heart from somewhere, and he comes on strong, and he snatches heart, sort of thing. He don't really knock you out. He don't really hurt you that badly, but he just throws a lot of punches and he comes forward. And if you haven't got the power to stop Peterson coming forward, then you're going to be in for a long night. But I think if you're a concussive puncher like Errol Spence, and even like I said, I know Matthysse, I said Matthysse is not a concussive puncher, but at the time, at 140, he was hurting people. So I think that's what you need to beat Peterson, and he had the tools to do that.
That's true.
Yeah, he definitely that night.
I completely agree with everything. Completely agree with everything you said, Stu. That Lamont Peterson, he wasn't gonna outbox Matthysse, and he wasn't certainly gonna outslug him. You saw what happened. Like he was a bad stylistic matchup. Now, the Shepherd of Sun says he was off the juice. That's why he couldn't take the punches. Now, listen, I don't wanna throw any accusations out there, but that's Peterson did get caught with a testosterone pellet in one of his butt cheeks. So make of that what you... I mean, he didn't get caught with it in his butt cheeks, but he got tested and he came out positive for testosterone. And then it came out that he had injected a testosterone pellet into one of his ass cheeks. So from now on, somebody's got to check those ass cheeks before the fights. Otherwise, who knows what he's hiding in there.
I mean, what he did to Amir Khan was probably one of the most corrupt nights of boxing I've seen for the last 15 years.
Ah, come on. You're just saying that because you're British.
No, because I don't care for Khan too much. You know, I think he's lost the fucking plot. He's got too many black patches on his brain, isn't he? You know.
Oh man, come on.
Well, too many shadows on his brain. The concussion's catching up with him. I mean, he's fucking retarded, isn't he? But you just got to keep it. You got to keep it real, bro.
He does seem like he's lost the plot. Like
you guys think so?
Like Stu says.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
man.
Go back and watch the young Amir Khan, how he used to conduct himself and everything. Even when he got knocked out by Prescott, he still conducted himself well. So, I mean, he represented the country well. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but he's just lost the plot. Well, I mean, he went into Celebrity Island. Celebrity, get me out of here in the jungle. What? Why did he do that?
Well,
you know, he's posting. He's doing he's masturbating live on Skype, isn't
he? Okay, now hold on.
He's accusing. So he's accusing. True, right? Hey, he's accusing Anthony Joshua of slipping his wife a length. You know, the guy's lost his marbles.
So you think that's got something to do with the
I'll say I've never had so much cock in my life.
Wait, what the fuck? I've never had so much. What? No. Listen, you're saying you seriously think that it's because of the blows to the head that he's been acting this way?
He wasn't accusing his wife of anything until Canelo knocked him out. He woke up and all of a sudden he's shagging everyone.
Now you know what?
Ever since Canelo snatched his soul, he hasn't been the same, man. He's been talking. He started accusing his wife of sleeping with Anthony Joshua, masturbating on Skype.
Now, yeah,
to men or girls. Who was he doing that to?
That's true, man. Then again, didn't he have some problems with his family?
No, you know, it was to a female. It's not Malik Scott levels we're talking about. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
No, not Malik Scott. The one Frotch knocked out, Yusuf Mack. We're not talking his levels.
No, yeah.
It's a terrible echo, bro.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. I don't know. It goes away eventually. Meanwhile, let me take this opportunity to read some scripture. Proverbs 6:32. But a man who commits adultery has no sense. Whoever does so destroys himself. And I would venture to say that goes for women, not just men. So if Khan's wife indeed commit adultery and wronged her husband, then she's got to repent. And the only way
I mean, at that point, you can't blame her.
Just put it this way, right? If Anthony Joshua has been there, Amir Khan will know the next time he goes there.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What?
I said if Anthony Joshua has been there with his wife, Amir Khan will know as soon as he went back there.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I mean, listen. Hey, wait a minute. We don't know. Look,
I mean, Khan's goes from going for a paddle to going for a swim, isn't it?
This is good. If you go up to Khan's wife and yell between her legs, this is sort of like what you're gonna hear. Hello. Hey, what the fuck is that? Sorry about that. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's the wrong echo there. That's the wrong echo. It was supposed to be. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can listen. Hello. Anyway, you guys get the joke. Yeah, listen. Fucking Amir Khan. Didn't you guys tell us also? I think it was Stu or some of the other. Oh, everybody dropped off. No, actually, who? Recognize is still there. Good old Recognize is still there. Yeah, I was just. I was just gonna say, man. All right, Stu's back. Stu, didn't you say that Khan also part of his erratic behavior is due to he's got like a misunderstanding or something with his family, with his father especially?
Oh, they've spent all his money.
Oh.
I mean, there's no misunderstanding. It's about. I mean, this is what happens. This is what happens with a lot of fighters. They surround themselves with people that they think are the right people, but they're not. Just because someone's your family member, it doesn't mean it's the right person for your business. And unfortunately, they all lived off Amir Khan, buying, all driving nice cars, wearing the nice suits, and basically living off Amir Khan's success until the money's all gone. And Amir Khan, he's made a lot of money in his time. I mean, this guy was making $1 million after a couple of pro fights. So you can imagine the money he's made. And they spent all his money. That's what do you think he's gone with Eddie Hearn for? Because he needs to make money.
Right.
Yeah, it's sad. Like that's a sad thing for him. Or at least for me, I could sympathize for him because your family comes to you, right? Your father, your brothers, or whoever, your mom. Imagine them coming to you for money, and you're like, all right, I'm making all this money. They took care of me when I was younger. Yeah. Whatever the relationship was there, so he feels obligated. Like that's to me. If that's what happened to him, that's pretty fucked up, and it could explain with all the knockouts he suffered throughout his career.
Do you know the fucked up thing about it?
His fucking family.
Do you know the fucked up thing about it, bro? Right, his family are the ones that convinced him to take the Canelo fight because they saw the
yeah, they don't give a fuck about him.
It's true. Shit. They're the ones that. He's even said that they convinced him to take the Canelo fight. They saw the check. Didn't worry about his health. They knew he was going to get knocked out. Didn't even care, mate.
And that's insane. And dude, he got knocked out. Like that was the worst, right? That's got to be the worst knockout he suffered.
Even Canelo was a bit worried. He had to go over there and check if Khan was still alive, didn't he?
Even Canelo was like, "Oh shit, I didn't mean to kill him."
Oh man, you know what? This whole thing explains why his father, every time Khan got in trouble in the ring, wobbled or dropped something, you would see his father going berserk. Now I understand. He knew he was losing. Every time he got knocked out, he said, there goes another dollar out the window. He was just thinking about the money probably. But you guys are right, man. I mean, it's one thing when your manager, promoter, whatever, starts stealing money, but when it's your own family spending it all, I mean, I got to tell you, that's insane. But then again, let's remember what the scriptures tell us about family. I want you to understand, says Ephesians 5:25, I want you to understand that the head of every man is Christ. The head of a wife is her husband, and the head of Christ is God. So family is just a microcosm of society as a whole. And if you can't trust your family, you can't trust society. So it's a shame when this type of things happen. Now, I know that Khan and his family are Muslim, but maybe, just maybe, I'm not saying they should convert, but maybe they should also seek the guidance from our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and that way they'll get a little something going. Chris Gonzalez says, BDA was on a binge with loose, big, beautiful women and bottles of Canadian whiskey. First of all, I don't even know if Canadian whiskey is any good, but as for the loose, big, beautiful women, that part is, you got it right. Apology Man says, hello. Mighty Claire, shout out to Mighty Claire, says, he nearly got knocked out of humanity. He's talking about Khan against Canelo. And I love that description. Yeah, it's true. Like, when Canelo knocked him out, he was like, oh, shit, I didn't even expect... even I didn't expect him to lay him out like this.
No, I think he expected to knock him out. I just think that there was a moment that crossed his mind, like saying, damn, did I just kill him? Like, just like kind of like
Well,
at
just
the
put it this way.
moment,
I think Khan, for a few seconds there, Khan actually visited the afterlife, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He wanted to see if there was really 72 virgins up there.
He did. He had a back row seat for that knockout, didn't he? Do you know what I mean?
You know what?
Up in the air.
He was knocked out cold for about 5 minutes. That's probably what happened to Khan's wife after she got done with Anthony Joshua. She probably passed out.
Fucking hell. Can you imagine if Khan's listening to this right now? He's like,
oh, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is.
Those are fighting words, BDA. He'll come look for you.
Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again.
Khan's gonna be Pacquiao's next opponent if he comes through this. You can bet your life he will be.
Oh, you don't think it's gonna be Kell Brook?
That fight, I don't know, because Kell Brook's got. Khan said that if for that fight to happen, it's got to be at 147. Kell Brook can't make 147.
That's a shame.
That point, Khan don't want that fight. Do you honestly think a guy that's been knocked out so many times? It's like an NFL fighter who's had 30 concussions. He's not going for a head challenge, is he? Where he's flying in with his head. He's not looking to do that. It's like any fighter. When you've been knocked out clean many a time, you're not looking to get knocked out savagely again. And I think with Khan, he knows Kell Brook's all wrong for him. Crisp puncher, and it's just a bad fight for Khan.
Not many guys, man. Not many guys could recover from that mentally. I'm sorry, Stu, but
that's right, bro.
When a fighter gets knocked out, right? Like, look, Pacquiao. One of the reasons why I consider Pacquiao such a legend. He gets knocked out by Marquez. Bad. I mean, I don't care if he was on steroids or not or whatever. That was a vicious knockout, right? He comes back from it and does it. Okay, did he fight a little smarter? Yeah, but pretty much Pacquiao fought the same way. Am I right? I mean, he pretty much went in there and fought the same way. And Khan is just not that type. It's like he got knocked out. Okay, he gets a win over a guy that we expected him, to beat. But I could just see him certain guys are not built to take a punch. Maybe it's bad chin, maybe it's bad, he doesn't know how to tense his body, doesn't know how to tense, the neck. Maybe he doesn't have time to react to that, for whatever reason, he's not built like a Pacquiao or like other fighters of the past that have gotten stopped or knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rod Davis in the chat asked the question: how many times has Khan been knocked out? 3 times. It doesn't sound a lot, but it's not the KOs on the record we're talking about. It's the 3 times or 2 or 3 times he hit the canvas and got hurt by Willie Limond when Marcus Madonna was bashing his head around for the last 3 rounds, stumbling everywhere. That's concussion. When you can barely stand up, that's concussion. Yeah. So whether you get stopped, close to it, just because you don't get knocked out cold, it doesn't mean that it's not concussion. I mean, and when you look at a lot of the fights, he's been hurt by Diaz. He's been hurt by so many guys. In most fights, he gets hurt. Let's be real. Peterson was hurting him. Danny Garcia actually swept the guy. What?
His whiskers are tender.
Yeah, so it's not just the KOs on the record I'm talking about, because 3 KOs, it's not a lot. There's a lot of fighters that have got more than that. It's the amount of times he's been hurt and concussed. I mean, by small punches as well.
And let's not forget how many times has he probably been concussed in training that we don't know about. Because, he was going wild at the wild card, the sparring he used to do there. I mean, he was slugging it out with those guys. So who knows what type of damage he took in those sparring.
Hey, with the I don't know what fight it was he was training for. It might have been the Danny Garcia fight. I was watching him sparring a middleweight in the Freddie Roach gym, and he was trading with this middleweight, just sitting in the pocket throwing bombs, and he was getting caught with big shots. You could hear the shots. They were rocking him to his boots, and this was just sparring, bro. And he was a 140 fighter at the time. He's sparring with a middleweight, go toe to toe with him, and he's getting rocked to his boots. So that's just one footage of Khan sparring. So you can imagine the wars he's been in.
Well, listen, that's
when
one
you're
thing.
Sparring, you take punches better when you do, because obviously you got the headgear, right? And you got somewhat bigger gloves. Sometimes you can stimulate a real fight by using the regular size gloves that you use, right? Like what is it, 8 ounces? You can do that. But in sparring, like you got the headgear on. You kind of know you're kind of training for certain things, right? Like how to take punches and whatnot. But when it comes to the real thing, there's just certain guys that can't, they can't make that transition where they get hit with a great shot. Maybe it has to do with the crowd. You could get dizzy when you get punched, right? And you're looking at the crowd and you don't know where the hell you're at. Your anxiety levels go off the roof, and then next thing you know, your legs are shaking and you're dropping all over the place. That could be it, but it just seems like whenever he gets clipped, it's like a disaster. The disaster is going to happen.
Absolutely.
The problem with Khan, he gives his opponents opportunities when he's covering up. I mean, if you look at Khan, he covers up for far too long. He doesn't bob and weave and duck under shots and parry shots. He doesn't do that. He just covers up. It's like an old German, Eastern European style of covering up, and he lets them tee off on him until he finds a space to roll out and spin. It's just that's not the way to fight when you've got a weak chin. Just sit in the pocket and let people tee off on it. Even if you're covering up, they can come from the side of the guard. And you always, even a shot on the temple. I mean, even the neck with Khan. I mean, Danny Garcia hit him on the fucking neck.
That's true. And by the way, before we continue with the Amir Khan talk, I would just want to introduce that we got Apology Man on the line. Apology, there?
Hello.
All right, Apology. Good to have you on board. Now, I understand you have a problem with my reading scripture on the show. Is that where we're at right now?
No, I'm just kidding around. Yeah, go ahead. I think you all need to be blessed by the Lord.
There you go. He's getting into the spirit. He's getting into the Christian BDA spirit. All right, I like that. All right, so Apology, thanks for being on. Like Stu was talking about how Khan has really, and recognized too, they were saying he's got no chin. He gets clipped a little bit and he goes down. You saw the Danny Garcia. By the way, the Danny Garcia punch, it wasn't 100% on the neck. He obviously did touch the chin, but it was. It's a good point. Listen, one thing you can't take away from Khan is that he is willing to trade and he's willing to fight anybody and everybody. But I'll ask Apology this. Do you think Khan has too much heart for his own good?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And the fact that when he does get hurt, he fights back. Like in the Garcia fight, he fought back.
Did you find it?
The Maidana fight, he fought back. So the fact is... hold on a sec.
Yeah, no problem. All right, we got
Khan's got a bravado thing in him where if he gets hurt, it's a pride thing. He'd rather come out swinging and get knocked out than run, sort of thing. He's got to get that out of his head, because when you've got a chin like that, you have to find a way to win. It's a bit like I've mentioned this before on this show when Barrera lost to Junior Jones. I mean, Junior Jones has got a chin just as bad as Amir Khan. And who would have thought that this guy could beat Marco Antonio Barrera twice in his prime? And because he found a way of avoiding big shots, and that's what you got to do, and Khan doesn't do that.
That's true, and that's the other thing. Like I really like what you said about Khan. This guy won. He medaled with silver. He got a silver medal at the Olympics. He doesn't know how to move his head. I mean, I'm pretty sure he knows how to, but he just never does it. In an actual fight, he relies on his legs. And how old is the guy now? Amir Khan. He's probably got to be in his 30s, right?
30s?
Listen, those legs aren't going to be as springy as they used to be in a couple of years. And he's going to, with his chin, it's going to be bad news. He's got to learn how to move his head. How old? Yeah, he's 31. Okay, he's still out there.
Khan's not that guy. He's not that guy that when he's out of camp will, get up at say 6 a.m. and go to the gym and spend a day there just tuning up things. He's not that guy. He's only training when he's in camp. Have you seen how fat he blows up?
No.
I mean, that takes it out of you as well. That takes fighting age, takes fighting life off you. Let's just say you can't last as long if you're not treating yourself well outside the ring, like Floyd Mayweather. The reason he could go on to his 40 and still look good because he stayed in the gym all year round. Yeah. Khan's not that guy. When he's not in a camp, he's not in the gym.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know
you gotta be in the gym. You gotta be dedicated, man. I mean, these guys, that's the one thing, whether you like Floyd Mayweather or not, the guy's a consummate, like, he's a professional. That's what he does. He goes in that ring, and he's serious about his shape.
I mean, with Virgil Hunter, the only time Virgil Hunter sees him is when he's got a fight for a camp. He doesn't go and spend 4 or 5 months with Virgil, living in Oakland or somewhere wherever he lives, and fucking tuning up his game. He doesn't do that. He sits at home, living the high life, doesn't he? Travels, goes to Dubai and Pakistan and everywhere else, blowing up.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't know that Khan used to blow. I didn't know that. I didn't know he used to be. I didn't know he's a fatso.
He used to blow up. He's blow up to fucking hell, man. 170, more, 180, I'd say.
My goodness gracious. Well, listen, since we were talking about Pacquiao versus Matthysse, here's an interesting question. The Matthysse 2013, pre-September 2013, Matthysse against Amir Khan. Who would you have taken in that one?
What year?
2013, pre-September.
That's a hard one because I'll pick Khan. I'll pick Khan. I don't think Matthysse is a big puncher, but he's
I think I'd take Khan too. I
don't think he's a Danny Garcia sort of puncher where he's a clean counter puncher. You know, when Khan's flying in with his combinations, that's when Danny's timed him. Matisse's not that. He fights a different sort of style. It's a very slow, methodical sort of brawling style. No boxing skills behind it. So I think I'd pick Khan just for his speed. He could probably avoid Matthysse in that one.
All right. So it's interesting because, I mean, Matthysse does have a shot with his power and Khan's bad chin. But just to recapitulate here, you guys are picking Pacquiao over Matthysse. Now let's go a little bit forward in time. Supposedly, Bob Arum has said, first of all, by the way, technically, this fight is not being promoted by Bob Arum, or Top Rank rather. It's Manny Pacquiao is doing all the, well, his promotional company is essentially the one that's promoting this, but he's using help from Golden Boy Promotions to take care of the technicalities and the fine details and all that. But essentially, it's a Manny Pacquiao promotion. And Bob Arum said, well, you know, it's not going to work out if he's just a free agent. He needs a good promoter. Supposedly, Bob Arum wants to put Pacquiao in against Lomachenko. He still wants that fight. He's still talking about it. What do you guys think? Do you think it can actually happen? And would you even want to watch it?
If I was Manny Pacquiao, Manny Pacquiao, I'd tell Bob Arum to go and fuck himself.
Oh.
Yeah, I would too.
Now, what that
That's what I'd do.
I would tell
Manny Pacquiao don't need Bob Arum, but Manny Pacquiao, get on the phone to Eddie Hearn now. He'll promote one of your fights. Manny Pacquiao's a brand. He doesn't need Bob Arum.
That's the thing. Apparently,
and to throw him to Lomachenko. I mean, I just don't think Bob's going to do that anyway.
Well, it's interesting because what's his name? Some people think
Lomachenko. I don't think Lomachenko's his prize asset. I don't think he's going to. Even Manny Pacquiao at this age is still a welterweight and is still a very good fighter. So I wouldn't do that. You look at the size difference, Linares. I know Linares is built different to Pacquiao, but Pacquiao's he's 2 weights above Linares.
That's true. And that's the other thing. Listen, this whole fucking thing about some people are saying, well, Bob Arum is just trying to whore Manny Pacquiao against either Lomachenko or Terence Crawford to cash him out, in other words, and you get either Lomachenko or Terence Crawford to ride off of Pacquiao's big name. Then the other thing is this about Pacquiao is that he says he's a free agent. Apparently, he wants to get away from Bob Arum. But I mean, this fight, from what Bucho told me, apparently there's gonna be 80,000 people there in Malaysia. 80,000 people. That means Pacquiao's still a global star.
Oh yeah, he's super popular. He's still super popular, like in countries like that. I mean, just about everywhere. But if you take him in anywhere, any Asian country, he's gonna sell out, of course.
This is why. Listen, this is why he doesn't need a Bob Arum. He doesn't need him.
Agree.
Yeah, then I wonder why he's stuck.
He needed Bob Arum. He needed Bob Arum for pay-per-view in America, and Pacquiao's not pay-per-view in America anymore. So what did he need him for now?
Pay-per-view is almost a thing of the past already. I mean, it's not. Yeah. It's not really unless you're matching up Canelo and Golovkin, right? I mean, people are talking about that Wilder and Anthony Joshua doing pay-per-views in America might not do that great. I mean, because first of all, not too many people know who Joshua is, and they don't. By the way, a lot of Americans don't know who Wilder is. There's still a lot of Americans that don't know.
Do you know Americans are not even buying the UFC anymore?
No,
that's
it's too much money, bro. You know, even $70 for a UFC card, $100 for a good boxing event or whatever it is. I mean, that's a fucking hell of a lot of money, man.
Dude, when I can stream fights and I can, I don't want to give myself up, but there's so many ways where I can just get a fight. Why would I pay for pay-per-view?
Do you know you could stay off the internet for an hour and a half after the fight and guarantee go on YouTube and the fight will be up.
Yeah, that's it.
Let me tell you something about the UFC.
It might be taken down. It might be taken down pretty quick.
Yeah, but you'll get to watch it before it gets taken down.
Exactly.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, we moan in the UK for like £17, which is about $20 or something. But when you're talking at $70 to $100, it's a different kettle of fish.
Well, speaking about that,
I think the pay-per-view game is pretty dead in America. I mean, Canelo and Golovkin are probably the only ones that can demand a pay-per-view fee at the moment.
Well, look, that's the thing about pay-per-view. Joshua Wilder, that's a big pay-per-view. Like you said, Canelo versus Golovkin. In terms of the UFC, which is of course the bare standard of MMA, there was an article on Bloody Elbow earlier this week by John Nash. Is that his name? Yeah, John Nash. Cool, pretty cool name. And the headline reads, UFC finances. Why doesn't the UFC get rid of pay-per-view? What they're explaining there is that despite the, mediocre numbers, they can still make a profit off of it. Which is why I used to think back in the day when they were having, like in boxing, 2 pay-per-views a month or something like that. And I would think, why do they keep making everything pay-per-view? Because they're making some money off of it. They're making a profit, their business. So that's why they keep putting it on.
They're making money off it, bro, because look at the fees that he pays these guys. I mean, he gives these guys 20 grand and shit for a fight. A lot of these guys, they're fighting. Some of these guys are on cards are getting off 4 grand to be on a card.
Jeez.
So, yeah, some of the money, the big guys get decent money. I mean, George St. Pierre and Anderson Silva used to make a lot of money, and John Jones and Conor McGregor especially. But the very few, I mean, I think Chad Mendes, I think he got the fight he fought before Conor, I think he got 30 grand or something like that. You know, this is a world, he was like a top 3 fighter at that weight at the time, so he was paying them peanuts, man. I know he gives them bonuses for knockouts and that lot, but when you're paying peanuts, you can afford to put on cards and make a few quid. But when you're boxing, and we got boxing's for the divas, when you got fucking Terence Crawford and Andre Ward wanting 2-3 million for fighting nobodies and stuff. You know, just an example.
You know, it's interesting because I think, like you mentioned, Chad Mendes. I think he went from making 40 grand to when he fought McGregor, he made, I think, 6 figures. I think. Yeah. So,
I think he made 700 grand when he fought McGregor, but he went from 40 grand to 700 grand. That's it. Yeah.
By the way, speaking a little bit of gossip here, do you guys know who Brendan Schaub is?
Yeah, of course I do. I know Brendan Schaub is. Yeah, he's an ex-fighter. He'd gone on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, he's a regular on that one. I think we've spoken about him because he's got a Showtime feature on the YouTube Showtime channel. He interviews boxers now, and one of the things that people criticize about Brendan Schaub is that he always slips in references to what he's doing, right? Like he'll be interviewing Mikey Garcia and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I understand what it's like to fight in front of your hometown. The other day I did a show in front of 10,000 people." Like, what? Okay, what do you got? It sounds like the Carl Froch quote where he was telling Floyd Mayweather, "Well, you know, Floyd, when I fought in front of 100,000 people in Wembley Stadium," or something like that. It's like, all right, come on, let's keep it professional about the interview.
I mean, did fucking Brendan Schaub ever win a fight in his life? Because every time I watched him fight, he got his ass whooped.
Oh, he did win some fights. I think he knocked out Krokop, I think. But what I'm trying to mention here is a little bit of gossip.
I mean, Brendan Schaub couldn't win a fucking raffle prize if he had the winning ticket in his hand.
Come on. See, Stu is always mean to people. Always mean. These guys get in there, they risk their lives for our entertainment. I think you should give them a little bit more respect.
Listen, I get what you're saying, but come on, man. They're there for criticism. You know?
Yeah, that's. By the way, I'm kidding.
Some people are just not very good at their jobs, whether it's a politician, whether it's a football player. I hate saying soccer. Whether it's anyone, any tradesman. Some people are just not very good at their jobs, and there's fighters that are not very good at their jobs, and that's how it is.
Stu. I'm great at my job. I'm doing a podcast and I'm working at the same time.
Yeah. If I ever open up the newspaper,
that takes skills.
Man, if I ever open up the newspaper and I read New York, 2 people dead in New York elevator, I'm gonna think, oh boy, I hope I didn't have anything to do with that. Distracting.
Well, it almost happened once.
Well, you almost fell once into a fucking shaft.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. And by the way, Stu, I love it when you bash people. That's my shtick. I gotta be the one that sticks up for people after somebody here makes fun of
I mean, I'll carry on doing it. I mean, whether it offends people or not. I'll just get annoyed with some, when you just don't get value for money. It's like anything, isn't it? If you order some food and it tastes horrible, you can say that's not value for money. It's shit. It's like anything, but when you pay for a fight and the guy doesn't produce and he's not value for money, then I've got a right to criticize the guy.
Absolutely, absolutely. We all have the right to criticize.
And look how many times we've seen fighters stink the joint out.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got to keep him in check too. I mean, there has to be a check and balance system in place.
Thank God for social media, because we can go on Twitter and say what a fucking bum performance that was, and they're going to see it.
Absolutely. Now, I wanted to get to this whole gossip thing, social media drama going on between Dana White, the CEO of the UFC, and Brendan Schaub. Now, you guys know that Dana White is not one. We've talked about him before on the show. He's not one to hold his tongue. He's very opinionated. And in a way, I can respect that, because at least you know where you stand with the guy. But of course, the flip side to the coin of saying whatever you want is that if you don't formulate your responses well or your statements, and you're going to come across looking like a dumbass. And there's been some instances where Dana White just doesn't look all that good. So what happened was Brendan Schaub said something about kickboxers going into the UFC, high-level kickboxers. And he was criticizing them for the hype that they bring, and that when they make it to the UFC, all of a sudden, some of them, they can't quite hack it. Well, one of the kickboxers responded to him via Facebook or Twitter, whatever, and he was criticizing Brendan Schaub for, you don't know what you're talking about. And then Dana White came in and he told the kickboxer, why are you even paying attention to Brendan Schaub? This guy, he doesn't know anything about fighting. He went 3-4 in the UFC. The only thing he's knowledgeable about is getting knocked out. I'm paraphrasing here, by the way. So that's what
Dana don't play games.
No, he does not. And then Brendan Schaub came back and he said that hold on, let me put it up here for everybody can see it. He said after Brendan Schaub's he called Dana White an Eskimo brother. Now, for those of you that aren't aware of the slang, Eskimo brother is when you fucked a woman that somebody else fucked, and you both know each other, so you're Eskimo brothers because you both fucked up the same woman. And apparently he's insinuating that Dana White fucked Ronda Rousey, probably up the ass. So
Dana's, he's had them all, and he even Cyborg.
He's had them all. It's like, how do you know that? Like, you think Dana White's going around fucking female fighters?
Well, what's that girl? What's the ring card girl? What's her name? The pretty little thing. He's definitely had that. Dana White's mum come out and said he's fucked most of them girls.
No shit. Oh well, yeah, it's Jimmy.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
No. What's her name?
Celeste or something.
No, there's one that's been there for fucking years. She's proper fit.
Like
she's
a half Asian.
I can't remember, but he's had her, and he's had a few more of them.
Right. And he
used to go in hard on. Who's the referee? Was it Mario
Yamazaki
or something? Whatever his name. He hated that fucking guy. He don't twist his words, old Dana. But yeah, he's had loads of them girls.
I just remember that's what Jimmy from Jimmy's Corner told us when he was on the podcast. He said that, remember guys, he said that Dana White, he's had them all, and that his mother even said that he went around town with the ring card girls. So, but I mean, it would surprise me if he fucked Ronda Rousey. But listen,
that wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, apologies back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, he definitely fucked Ronda Rousey. I'd fuck Ronda Rousey, so I don't blame him.
Well, you would fuck Ronda Rousey.
Apology. Apology. You're going to be a virgin for the rest of your life.
All right. I don't appreciate you guys talking to Apology that way. He's gonna wake up one day and he's gonna realize that the whole MGTOW thing, it might be good on paper. They do make some good points, but realistically, you cannot go around being celibate your whole life. You gotta get in there and get your dick wet, you know?
Do you know the funny thing about it? That MGTOW show we did, fucking sitting there bashing women all night. Next night, I had one round. Do you know what I mean? I got, you know, a man's a man. He's got to do. You think, like Trav, do you honestly think I'm going to go 15 years without getting any pussy? Man? Get the fuck out of it. I couldn't do that.
Hey, Stuart, when me and my ex-wife, I've been married, like I said, I've been married twice. When me and my ex-wife broke up, right, and I was officially a single man, I used to bash women all the time. Don't trust these whores. And at the end of the day, I'll be home with one of them, right? I'll be home with one of these girls that I just been bashing all the time, right? That's the typical. I have a feeling that's Apology Man. Apology Man is one of those guys that are like, you know, I choose to stay by myself, but you know, at the end of the night, he's looking at one of those random sluts, so he can just
He's you know, he fucking tosses a coin which girl he's going to stay with tonight. You know what I
mean? He's like, I want to fuck that one today.
By the way, I'm not saying this that well, look, listen, we have BDA contacts all over the world, and we actually have a secret recording of Dana White with one of his ring card girls. This is how this is an interview, closed door interview, and this is what Dana White tells his girls.
Get down on your knees so Sabrina can see your asshole.
Oh my goodness gracious, listen. That's bad. And by the way, Nino Gadji.
I like that name, Sabrina.
Nino Gadji in the chat room says Gina Carano is bad as fuck. I'd hit it raw. Gina Carano has to be my favorite, man. I'm not usually.
Carano. Who the hell is that?
Oh, are you on your phone right? Can you see?
I'm gonna look her up right now.
Well, hold on. Is she a UFC fighter then?
She never made it.
No, she never made it. She was a strike force, but then she got.
Hey, who's the lesbian-looking one? The dyke.
What the fuck?
I like her.
Which one's you? There's
yeah, she's cute.
No, the one that beat the pole. The one that beat the pole out. Who's that?
Oh man, jeez. I don't know.
No,
she's not bad.
What's her name? I can't remember her name. The Polish girl. What's her name, man?
Eunice.
Yeah, you know which one I mean. She's got short hair. She's a very pretty girl, but she looks like she's a lesbian. I think she is a lesbian. But she's quite.
She's
impressive.
married to.
BDA, man, you're rubbish. You are, BDA.
What do you mean rubbish?
Every time I ask you, who's this? I don't know.
Well, I know there's a lesbo on the UFC. She's a Brazilian one, I think. She got knocked out by Ronda Rousey in one round, but I don't know the name. All I know is she likes to muff dive. That's all I know. You think I'm gonna memorize these people's names? Come on.
Because I don't like women fighting. I don't really like it.
I don't like it at all.
That's why I don't really know their names. I turn it off when the women come on. I usually turn it off for a bit. I just can't.
I'm looking at the Gina Carano. I'm looking at the Gina Carano girl that you guys were talking about, and I can see what you're talking about. Face wise, very pretty. I'm sure her body would be really. I would probably really appreciate it if she wasn't that fucking toned. You see, the toneness is like it reminds me of. Well, shit. What my body looks like.
Well, hold on. Let me interject here, if I may, because I'm pretty sure you're looking at photographs of her during her weigh-in. Now that she's no longer fighting, she actually looks pretty.
I'm starting to see what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm looking. You see, I'm looking further down.
That's right.
Images, right.
You gotta look down.
Search Deadpool. She was in Deadpool 1. Search that.
Yeah. Listen.
I'll say again.
Deadpool the movie. She was in the first one.
Deadpool.
Search that.
Let me tell you
I'm
something.
starting to see what you guys are looking at. Yeah, she's an attractive woman.
Recognize.
I would say that.
Recognize. You've been around the block. When you look at her and she's got that little smirk and all that, what does that tell you?
That tells me something.
It tells you something, all right.
She's ready.
She's ready. She knows what she's doing. And by the way, I'm going to put up a...
I have a feeling she likes to get abused. But
Well, that's what I was gonna. And by the way, Bucho, if you're listening, I can't. The sub alert isn't appearing. I don't know why. All we hear is a song. Look at this photograph here. Everybody can see the photograph, hopefully, on the screen. You see Gina Carano getting punched by, I think it's Cyborg, when she got beat up. If you're fucking Gina Carano, and you can't make her make that face, you gotta go back to school. That's all I'm gonna say, all right? Gina Carano, she can get it anytime. I would even pull a John Gonzalez and let her shit wherever she wanted. My face
have some dignity.
I want to lose all respect for you. Like
the time,
there's
a time for dignity and there's a time for getting down. And if Gina Carano ever, for some reason ever came around, she said, "Oh, BDA, you're cute, you're this, you're that. I really like your voice. I really like your jokes, and I particularly love your scripture." Your knowledge of scripture. I want you to go down on me. I normally women have to please me before I get to please them. That's the way it works. But with Gina Carano, I'd be willing to make an exception. All right, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, she passes my eye test.
This is what I'd learned.
I'm very strict.
Was that? What did you say about the eye test?
Dying, man.
That's disgusting.
Is that boxers?
Good Lord.
Apology.
I mean, if I had a girlfriend and I walked past the bathroom and I heard that noise coming from it, even that would put me off. Never mind letting them do that on top of me.
People.
Let me ask you something, Stu. Have you ever been like, with one of your ladies and you're like, I'm thinking about banging her right now. You just happened to pass by the bathroom, you heard that shit, did you just go limp?
It's one of them where you think, I think I changed. I think I'll give it a pass tonight. You know what I mean? Fuck.
She messed it up for you, right? You're like, fuck this.
It's one of them where it's fucking like, now I think I'll leave it tonight.
By the way,
I don't like any disgusting noises coming from women. I mean, I have a no fart policy. I do.
A no fart policy.
No,
the pussy fart is fine.
That's a good policy to have.
Yeah, because when that happens, you're doing the job. That's your fault. That's happening, so you don't mind. But when they're sitting there fighting on your leg and laughing and shit like that, them games don't play with me.
Huh? That's interesting.
Give it an inch, take some out.
That's it. No fart policy, mate. You should all you boys should stick to that. Like I said, you let them do that before they'll be picking their nose in front of you and everything else, mate. You got
you give them an inch, they'll take a yard, me. That's it.
Yeah.
Fucking mile.
Strict policies.
Yeah, man.
Now listen.
It's time for the alpha males to step up and put these females in their place.
I was surfing for porn. All right, come on. I was surfing porn the other day, and I did find. I mean, there is that genre. It's mostly Brazilian, where girls fart on guys' faces. And I tell you something. I tried. Pulling it
and they're so into it too. They be like, "Vota bom, vota bueno, tudo bom." I'm like, what the fuck?
That's pretty good.
You guys know too much about this. I'm worried.
Listen,
que isso? What do you mean, que isso? She farted on you.
Exactly. No, that didn't. It doesn't do it for me. It doesn't do it for me at all. All right, the farting, nah. Not really into that. Let's read a couple of comments from the people there. Good shit, bro. I don't know about the shit part, but LOL at BDA Boxing. She can get it. 100% access. Recognize he's lying. He would later shit con him too. Is he trying to say shit corn or shit con? Or shit on? He's saying shit on.
Fuck him.
Yeah. Wally 1970 says I would let her shit on my bed. Wally says I have that Hershey kiss. Have that Hershey kiss on the end of your dipstick. And by the way, guys, I think at this point it would be a good time to tell people that this is a parental advice. We do advise people to.
Kids under 18, right? Is it under 18? Yeah, kids under 18, you shouldn't be watching this.
It's a little too late for that, but hey, what do you want from me? Nino Gadji says, who's that porn chick that got her ass beat by the MMA fighter? Oh,
he's talking about Christy Mack. Man.
Talking about Christy Mack.
I don't know what she looks like now after that, but
she looks weird, man.
There was something nice looking about her.
I'm
not really into the girls with the shaved heads, on the side. But some girls could pull it off, and she's one of them.
Oh God, that's so funny.
You know, she got some plastic surgery after she got her face beaten by War Machine. You know what she looks like now? She looks like Jim Lampley a little bit.
Oh,
like
man.
Yeah, I know. But hey, what do you want, man? It's a shame, but she shouldn't have been fucking. The part that always makes me laugh, and that's what Cameron told us about the details. Is about the guy. Like, for those of you that don't know the story, Christy Mack is a porn actress. You know, fuck doll. Let's call it what she is. She's a fuck machine. And she used to go out with this guy named War Machine. He was an MMA fighter who also did a couple of performances on screen, or on tape rather. Anyway, they were having a fight or something. She started fucking another guy, and my instincts tell me that she knew that War Machine was going to show up at the house. So he shows up. He gets incensed because the guy's a nut job. He starts wailing on the girl. He tries to get to the guy, but apparently the guy was all sweaty or something, so he was able to slip out, and he just abandoned her, left the place, and War Machine almost killed Christy Mack. I think. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but her injuries were really...
No, he almost killed her. He almost... Yeah, he did.
You should see the photos afterwards. Her face is completely swollen. Yeah, it was really bad.
That was rage. And listen, I'm gonna tell you something, and this might sound fucked up, but hey, I'm just gonna call it like it is, or the way I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of girls understand what kind of men they're dating. I've been in situations where I'll give you one little taste of my experience. One time, I'm not gonna tell you what happened totally, but a guy kicked down a metal door. I was in bed with her. She didn't tell me that her ex-man was 6'7", close to 300 pounds. Like, this is the guy she was dealing with. I'm a big man myself, but I'm not 6'7". Okay, I'm not 6'7", 3. He kicked a metal door down.
The fuck?
Like, yeah, he hit it like 3 times. It came down, and I had to get the fuck out of this. I'll just leave it at that. And some women know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. So I don't blame that guy, whoever was fucking her and ran out. I can't blame him. He's probably like, you know what? I have a feeling you knew this motherfucker was coming, because nobody knows what was probably being said.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I'd like to see the statistics in America, because obviously there's guns allowed over there. So I'm using that as an example of what the numbers are of men being killed down to women and their deviousness.
Oh, man.
It's probably high.
Any man in America will tell you.
I bet a lot. I bet a lot of young males that have been murdered on the streets of America.
You're
I bet
okay with this?
Most of them, there's a woman behind it somewhere.
I know about I know about 6 or 7 guys that got killed over a woman. Seriously, no lie to you. About 6 or 7 guys off the top of my head.
That's what women do, man.
No, but I was laughing. I was laughing because Reese Mack says regarding your story, recognize. He says her ex was the Mountain from Game of Thrones. That was probably the same guy, man. Fucking giant.
This guy was fucking huge.
Was he ripped as well? Was he huge?
Yeah, he was like that mobile, fast, 300.
Oh, okay. So he wasn't
6'7". He's 6'7". So think about that for a second. Like, he's
My goodness gracious! I mean, I gotta tell you, you gotta be careful who you go to bed with.
You're okay with this?
That start wars, man.
That I'm a whore. That I'm a whore.
And the thing
that I'm a whore. Or
this thing.
Sorry
this
about
girl
that.
was a cutie. Like, this was a top to bottom.
See, this is the problem with a lot of guys. A lot of guys think with their fucking dicks.
And you want to know something?
They don't connect dots. They don't look at the big picture. When I meet a girl, I look at the surroundings. I look. Does she look a chav? I look at who her family are. Has she got some mad ex-boyfriend on the scene? You know, I take all these things into account, because I don't want to be putting my life. I don't want to be putting my life in danger for some mad chick that I don't really know that well. Do you know what I mean? And she's got some crazy boyfriend who just got out of prison.
Let me tell you something.
Some guys don't think about all that.
Stuart, just to echo what you were saying, this was like, had to be like 20 years ago, something like that. Okay, the neighborhood that this happened in, when she told me where she was from, that right there should have said, don't even go there, don't even go there. But because I wanted her in the bed, I took the risk anyway. and got away with it a few times, you know. And then one day, and she actually told me, I got a crazy ex-boyfriend. She just told me, like, you know, like kind of like randomly just said, yeah, he's crazy. He doesn't want to, you know, he doesn't understand that it's over, and I just want to move on. She never mentioned he's 6'7", 300 pounds.
Recognize. You should have been, your spider sense should have gone on when she said this to you.
I'm gonna get some cock this morning because I didn't have any breakfast.
Come on, when a girl says I'm gonna get some cock because I haven't gotten any breakfast, you know it's time to run away. And by the way, Chris Gonzalez in the chat room says BDA is a MGTOW shill. See, that's another conspiracy theory that he's starting to throw around, that I'm a MGTOW shill. I am not a MGTOW shill. This is just a subject that always ends up coming after we talk boxing. Come on.
I mean, because that's how it is nowadays. That's why we have to point it out.
Exactly.
Yeah, point it out.
Absolutely. Apology right on the money there. I mean, these are things that happen in life and you have to point them out. Because there's young people. Listen, BDA boxing is all about...
Like Cameron, bro. Cameron met a girl, fell in love after about 2 days. I told him.
What the fuck is that all
back
about?
Off, take a step back.
Yeah.
I mean, he was talking about engagement rings and all sorts.
He wasn't talking about... He wasn't
BDA anymore.
No, he wasn't talking about fucking...
Stuart dismissed it, really. Come on, Cameron. You know what that accent that Stu has? Come on, Cameron. I know what's happening here. No, and Cameron. No, I'm serious. I'm serious, Stuart. This is the one. Cameron, come on. You're talking to me. I know what's gonna happen.
Fuck, this is the one. The guy's like in his early 20s, a good-looking guy. The pussy's going to be coming. He's going to be forgot about her in a couple of years. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just when you're that young, you gotta. You see a girl and you think she's the one, but it doesn't work out like that. It very rarely does. You know, how many people do you know that are still married to their childhood sweetheart?
Listen, he wanted to marry her, and I think I know why.
When I think of asses, woman's ass, something comes out of me.
He was into that ass. If a girl... Listen, who said that? Was it Stu earlier who said that the dick makes you do crazy things? Is that you, Stu, that said that a couple of minutes ago?
Yeah, but a lot of men think with their dick. They don't think about the consequences afterwards, because it's all well and good getting that little bit of fun, but when the fire comes afterwards, man, you think to yourself, why did I even speak to that girl? Mm-hmm. So you gotta think what's going to happen afterwards. If you're talking to a girl in the club, she says, "Come back and fuck me," and she said, "But I've got a boyfriend." Who's that? She goes, "Pablo Escobar." You're not going to go back to the fucking house.
Some men will. Some men are that thirsty. They'll take the risk.
Yeah,
but anyone with a brain. But this is my point. There's guys out there that would still do it. Yeah, and they're the ones that end up in the coffins, I'm afraid.
Like I said, I know about 6 or 7 guys that were murdered. Like, you know, they're gone over a girl, over a woman.
My goodness gracious. All right, first of all, guys, I got to tell you something. I'll be right back in a couple of minutes. You guys keep this up. And when I come back, I want to talk a little bit about the Canelo versus Triple G teleconference that they had about 2 weeks ago, because we never talked about that, right? So you guys take over.
Fuck that fight. Rocky Fielding's just won.
Who? Rocky who?
You don't know who Rocky Fielding is? He just beat Tyrone. He just beat the only German champion they had. He just knocked him out in 5 rounds.
You must be talking about MMA, right?
No, Tyrone Zuger, the German, just got knocked out by Rocky Fielding. I just watched it. Boxing.
Oh, get out of here! Are you serious? Like, wait. What's the guy's name? How come I don't even know who they are?
Rocky Fielding's the one that Callum Smith knocked out in a round.
Oh, that's right.
He just took the belt off the German.
There you go. That's boxing. That's the kind of boxing I like.
So yeah, we'll get back onto that dangerous female topic quickly, until we get onto the Golovkin stuff.
Yes,
because there's not a lot to talk about in boxing, really, is there? But yeah, I've been in a few situations where if I'd not used my common sense, I could have got into some serious trouble over females. And as you get older, you just learn, don't you? Recognize, you start.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know,
you see that situation right there stopped me from going to women's houses. Like, I would go to their apartments. I had this thing where I didn't want them to know where I lived, So I would go, especially, here's the thing, like, right, wherever you're from, I'm sure you guys could relate to this. Wherever you're from, you know there's that certain neighborhood you shouldn't really go to, because not only that it's bad, the women are known to be like, even if they're sweet and beautiful looking, you know that there's a good chance that they could have been, you know, an ex-boyfriend of theirs could have been like some thug that you don't want to run into, right?
Well, yeah, exactly.
It's not her so much. It's
no.
She could be the sweetest person in the world, right?
But it's the baggage that comes with her.
Right, exactly.
You know,
so the neighborhood alone should have been like, okay, red flag. You know,
if she's the baby mother of the local drug dealer, it's best just to stay away from her.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm telling you, this metal door, if I showed it to you and said he kicked that door down, you would say, oh yeah, he definitely had to be close to 300 pounds to kick that shit down.
Was it one kick or a series of kicks?
It was like 3, like it started off like little, like I can hear him saying, I'm fucking getting dressed, right? And I'm getting dressed and I can hear like a little kick. And he's like, bitch, I know you're in there with this fucking guy. I know you in there. Somebody already told me they saw you in there. You know, like he's he's going off, and then it just boom, 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 and the whole thing just dropped. I said, this is the thought in my head. I'm like, did he just knock that fucking door down? And what kind of man knocks down that door, right? Either he's kicking the door with 2 or 3 other guys, or he's a big man. And he was like by her door entrance and the hallway. And I looked at him. I said, oh, shit. This guy is... At that point, he looked 7 feet to me. Like, I'm like, oh, man, this is going to end bad. I had my knife with me. And you know, I was like,
of course,
I'll fucking stab him. I have to. I don't even think he'll penetrate.
There's this time, man. I thought, fucking hell, it's on. Well, I was a bit younger at the time. I had my own flat or apartments or whatever you call them, and nearby there's this chick that always used to. She was quite tidy as well, quite a young girl, but she used to get drunk with her mates and always knock on my door and all that, like fucking all. And one night I let her in it, fucking give her a good seeing to, man. Next minute I get a knock on the door, right? So I've come out just in my boxers, like no top on. Just answer the door, it's a boyfriend, right? He goes, oh, is Annabelle there? I was like, oh, for fuck, like an idiot. I just said, yeah, hang on a minute, mate. I should have said nah. I should have said, nah, I don't know you're on about. I'm in bed, mate. I just froze. I said, yeah, hang on a minute. I'll just get her. So he knows, he knows what's going on. I'm thinking it's going off, isn't it? Going off. And luckily for me, he must have been a bit of a simp because he didn't really say much. So he just got dressed and walked out, fucking locked the door and that. But that could have been a guy who was a serious man. He could have had a blade on him, stuck it in. Could have stuck it in me. He could have had a gang. He could have had a gang of mates round the corner of the door, steamrolling through the door and doing me in sort of thing. So there's a dangerous situation to put myself in, and I learned from that. Do you know what I mean? I did.
It's a risk. It's a big risk.
Some
That's why I like this
as well. Enjoy 2 men fighting over them.
Well, look, I mean, the main thing of apology is that we're teaching you youngins how it's done. So leading back to that, recognize how fast, ever since that happened, do you practice on putting your pants on as fast as you can? Like, do you time yourself and like, all right, 5 seconds, good time?
Well, first of all, I stopped. I just, after that, like, I was really, I may have gone to like maybe 3 or 4 girls, and these are women that I knew and kind of like had a thing with them for a while's apartment. After that, it was just like, coming to my place. That was it. You know, there was no way I was gonna go to a girl's, especially the kind of neighborhood that she came from. I was like, nah, no way. I'll never go to a girl's apartment like that. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, I was never in a situation like that. Well, kind of, but not running from an ex-boyfriend or anything. You know, it wasn't that kind of case. It was like, I'm hitting up a girl in her mother's house. You know, I got to put my pants on fast because she may have heard something. So, but I got my pants on quick. I got them on quick. I had I remember I had Tim boots on. I think it was like it may have been like the winter time still. I had my Tim boots on. I'm like ready. I'm like pumping myself up. I'm like, this fucking bitch. I'm saying it in my mind. I'm like, this motherfucker kicked down the doors.
It's insane.
I'm like, wait a second. I keep like thinking in my head, what kind of man could kick down a door like that? Man, when I saw that size of him, I said, there's no way I'm fighting this guy. No way.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, you can't fight.
Not only that he cleared me by 5 inches in height, he had me by a good, maybe back then, close to 100 pounds. Muscle. Most of that was muscle weight. And I'm thinking, this is the kind of guys you like. You have to see the size of this girl. She could have not been no more than 5'4", okay? 5 feet 4 inches tall. She's dating this big 6'7", 300-pound man while she weighs like 125. Almost.
Insane.
I never even thought in my mind, I never even thought in my mind that she was dating a guy that fucking big. Just didn't come to mind at all.
I got a guy, right? I got a mate of mine. He was sleeping with this chick, and her ex-boyfriend's a bit of a nut job. He's a bit of a psycho. But my mate, instead of like thinking, I better stay away, it's best if I stay away, he's dangerous. My mate'd still go there, but he'd take his work van and he'd walk in the house with his plumbing bag. So if any noise came and mate turned up, he'd make out he was fixing the washing machine or something. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, why would you put yourself through that? Do you know what I mean? Having to walk in with a fucking tool bag just in case he walks in. I mean...
Look, I could talk about this one case that happened to a friend of mine, right? I could talk about it because he's no longer here. He's dead. And what I'm going to say, it was pretty well known and the cops nailed everybody, that kind of thing.
Oh,
all right. So a friend of mine was dating this girl and she had an ex-boyfriend, right? Now, my friend was definitely a player. Back then he had a lot of different girls. So anyway, he one day he went to this girl's house, and when he was coming out of her apartment, he was confronted by her ex, who was a pretty well-known guy around that area. Let's just put it that way. And they got into a shootout. Okay, yeah. My boy got away with it. He took one of them out. So you're thinking that maybe he would leave it alone, right? Like never see this girl again. The girl moved out to another part of this area, and I don't know, maybe like 6-7 months later, he went to go see her again, and this time they got him.
That's the way it goes, man. You live by the gun.
You would think that he would have left it alone after that one incident. He was already in all types of trouble because they were looking for him, right? And not only the cops were looking for him, those guys were looking for him. And yeah.
Jesus.
He went back for more, and that was it. That was the end of him.
You don't go back to the well too often. Everybody knows that. And your friend, like you said, he's a player. He was living the high life and living in the fast lane, rather. You're gonna crash and burn at some point if you keep going at that speed. Now it's interesting because sometimes girls, we talked about how they like to set up guys to fight each other for them. Now, imagine how good this girl must have felt that a bunch of guys got into a shootout over her. I mean, how much money you want to bet? What's that? Apology, what'd you say? All right, listen. She must have told her next boyfriend, every time he doesn't want to take her out to dinner, she'll be like, oh yeah, well, 2 guys got into a shootout for me. You won't even take me out to dinner. Ugh. I tell you, that's why I don't like it when they play their games. I really don't.
Yeah, but what's true is that some girls will throw.
I definitely don't like it.
All right.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, listen, there's girls that will throw that in your face, man. They'll be like, "Oh, my ex-boyfriend died over me." I'm like, "Yeah, he's stupid, not me." I'm not dying.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell him it's nice.
Yeah.
He's
some girls
stupid enough to die for you, and yet she's fucking someone else.
I wouldn't even chuck my dog out. If a girl give me an ultimatum, me or the dog, she's gone.
Oh
yes, do you like that?
Yeah.
She's gone. You think I'm going to get rid of my dog for you? I mean, no chance, mate.
Oh, I bet the girls love to hear that, but when you tell them to their face.
I've told them everyone I've checked. I've told them that. Don't even come with these ultimatums about my dogs because they come first before you.
Nice.
What was the joke from Jackie the Joke Man, which was a guy, he's gonna go hunting. He wants to go hunting with his dogs and with his wife. So he tells his wife, listen, we're gonna go hunting. And the wife goes, I don't want to go hunting. So the guy goes, listen to me, you fucking stupid cunt. I'm gonna go out get the dogs, all right? And when I come back, you either go with me hunting or you suck my dick, all right? I'll give you 5 minutes to decide. I'm gonna go get the dogs. So he comes back 5 minutes later and she goes, so what'd you decide? She goes, well, I'm not gonna fucking go out hunting, so I guess I'll suck your dick. So she sucks his dick, and you know what? You know what? I just realized I fucked the whole joke up. I fucked the whole joke up. The whole fucking joke.
What surprise? What surprise?
Oh, now wait a minute. Now wait.
My beloved.
You motherfuckers. I fucked. Not only, here's how bad I feel right now. Not only did I fuck up the joke, but then the indignity that fucking Apology Man has to come in and say, what a surprise.
Apology's a man of few words, but it's very effective.
They sting. Only a woman can sting me the way Apology Man does. And he's not even a woman, so what does that tell you? By the way, to make up for the fucked up, the way I fucked up the joke, we actually have a clip of the guy that almost caught Recognize the Matrix. You slipped away, thankfully Recognize, so you're still here with us. But after you slipped away, this is what the guy said.
The little fucking spick bastard.
Now listen, I can play the clip. I'm Mexican. Anything that involves the word. Anything that involves.
Say that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he did.
He said, yeah, this is what you like? You like fucking these spicks?
Damn.
I said, oh shit, okay, I'm just gonna eat that.
Now here's the thing. What do you respect more? Let's be honest about it, all right? If a guy catches his girlfriend, wife, whatever, with another guy, and what do you respect more? That he beats the shit out of her? Or that he goes, okay, I forgive you? Which one is more pathetic? Losing your patience and beating up a woman, or being okay with the fact that she just fucked another man?
They're both pathetic. The best way to get at a woman, is show no emotion whatsoever. They get more angry and they want to fight with you. And when you say, look, I think you did the right thing because I don't really like you anyway. Do you know what I mean? So you just saved me a job. Just be like that. Well, you don't have to be violent. That will hurt them more than punching them in the face. I'm telling you that.
Well, just don't talk to them at all. Like,
women are strange
at all.
Women are strange characters. They'd rather take a right hook than being neglected, shall we say.
That's an interesting point, because I've heard. Remember when Rihanna got the shit kicked out of her by Chris Brown?
Strange.
Yeah,
it shows her some validation. Like he cared. You know, I got him to that point. You know, that's why when my boys, you know, some of my friends, and we've all had this talk. Yeah, I fucked the shit out of her. I'm like, yeah, you just gave her what she wanted, stupid. That's all.
Like, exactly. That's a very good point.
I was begging her out. I was making her come 1,000,000 times, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. You just gave her what she wanted.
But these guys that boast about their sex life, the truth, if you dig that deep and get the truth, it's usually over in a few seconds. They have to build their confidence somehow, so they tell their mates, oh yeah, bit tired today, innit? I had a 3-hour session with some chick the other night when it was really about 3 minutes at most.
or they pay like there's prostitutes and pick them up from the bar.
Now wait a minute. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
No, I'm just saying. Have no game. Anyone can do that.
Now listen. First of all, Chris Gonzalez has a good suggestion. He says, if you ever catch your woman cheating on you, you bust out the camera. I tell you what you can do to creep them out is
that's a good idea.
You sit in the corner and you take your pants off and you start working yourself over while you're watching. And you tell, no, don't stop. That should really creep them out.
There was this movie I watched ages ago where this guy got back. this was the best revenge, right? This guy was fucking his wife, right? But this guy who's fucking his wife has got a girlfriend himself, and she's pregnant. And this guy's found out about his wife and this guy sleeping together. So he's got them all. He's holding them up with a gun. He's come in and caught them, holding them in the nod, right? Coming up, holding them up with a gun. So he's rang he's rang his wife up, and told him what's gone on, and she's pregnant. And the wife's turned up to the house, so she's seeing her husband and this guy's wife naked on the bed. And matey just goes, "Do you want to do this?" And the girl goes, "Yeah." Next minute, she just pulls down her clothes, and he just goes behind and starts bashing her in front of them two, in it, that she's pregnant as well. So,
oh my god,
that's bashing his pregnant wife in front of him to get revenge, man. I mean, that's the ultimate revenge. He had a gun to his head, obviously, so he couldn't do nothing, but pointing a gun at him while he's doing it. But that's the ultimate revenge.
You're watching a whole different type of porn than the one I watched.
That was not a porn, though. It was a movie.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A pornographic movie.
Okay, Stu,
you know I can't get porn.
Stu.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Somebody's a block on it.
I used to listen to this radio station. It was like the radio station was based out of I think it was here in New York, but it was like the host of the show, they were like all from the West Indies, right? So they were talking. There was this one guy who called in, and they were talking about this girl that supposedly he was married to this girl, and so he was married to this girl, but he had a feeling that she was cheating on him with her boss. And so the host said, "Okay, I know how to get it. I know a way to get her to tell you the truth," right? So the guy is like, what do I have to do? He goes, "Just follow me here, okay? I'm gonna pretend to be a doctor." So he pretends to be a doctor, and he says, "We're gonna tell her that I've just diagnosed you with AIDS." Okay, hold on.
Savage.
So he's like, I'm gonna say you have AIDS, and so we're gonna see. And you're going to say, "Look, you're the only person I've slept with. That's it. It's only you. How I don't do drugs. How the hell did I get AIDS?" Right? So they call her up, right? And he's playing it off. The husband's playing it off really good. And he's maybe because he's emotional already, right? Like because he knows that he has a really good feeling that she's cheating on him with her boss. And so he's like, "Babe, I have to speak to you. I have to speak to you." And she's like, What is it, honey?" And he's like, I got AIDS. I just been diagnosed with HIV. She's like, "What?" She's like, shut for a second. He's like, "Babe, I've only slept with you. I've been only sleeping with you for 10 years, And he's crying. "How can this happen?" And she's like, "Are you serious?" And next thing you know, you hear the host come on, and he's like, "Sir, everything's going to be okay. Can you please talk to my wife? Can you talk to my wife, please?" And so the guy gets on. He's like, she has AIDS. He's been diagnosed with AIDS, HIV. I'll do my best to console him. And she starts crying. "Oh my God, I don't believe I did this." She just told him, right? "I don't believe I did this piece of shit, motherfucker." So she knew that if she got AIDS, more than likely it was from the boss. And she passed it on to her husband. So she just spilled like all her guts out right there. Like, "I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I did. I'm going to kill myself." She starts saying on the radio, "I'm going to kill myself."
Jesus.
Like yeah. I mean, it was to the point they're like, hold on, sweetheart, calm down. She's like, "No, She's like, I can't breathe. He's like, "Sweetheart, calm down. Your husband don't have AIDS, but he did catch you. You are cheating on him."
Well, listen.
She's like, "What? What is this?"
That brings up a good.
Who is this man?
She's.
Good Lord, what is this?
Good Lord.
Good Lord.
I think she said good Lord. She said good Lord.
Good Lord Almighty. Well, that just goes to show you, I mean, it's something that we could probably say for another MGTOW episode about the nature of men, the nature of women. I mean, it's a pain in the ass.
Now
but look,
think about it, right? Like, just think. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what they look like or anything, right?
I don't want to.
But think about it. Like, he's married to this woman. He sounds pretty sincere when he said, "Look, and I've been with her for 10 years. We've been together for 10 years. We're married. We have a kid." And he sounds pretty convincing to me that, in those 10 years, that's the only woman he slept with. Let's say he did sleep with someone. Obviously, he didn't carry on an affair. This woman was, like, going to work. And part of his complaint was, like, there were certain nights she would always come late. Like, always come home super late. And, like, maybe I think one time he said that she didn't even come home one day. I'm like, do you know what the fuck she's doing at that point? And what would drive her? Obviously, this is a man who cares about her, right? He has a kid. Well, because if he didn't give a fuck, right, he would never call a radio station to try to bust her, right? So she knows that this is a man that obviously really cares about her, but she rather the boss, that's just fucking her. And that's it. It's just some women are built strange. They're built differently, and they're strange in many ways. They rather that guy that just wants to fuck them, and that's it.
We're all a little bit fucked up. We're all going down. We're all traveling through this life. It's a train ride. It's a carnival ride, rather. And it goes up and it goes down, and then it swirls, and then some people fall off. And I mean, it's just a fucking crazy. What do you want from me? It's a crazy life. You gotta watch out who you associate with, because men and women can act like fucking psychos every once in a while. So yeah, that's why in a way I do agree a little bit, just a tiny little bit, with Apology Man and the MGTOW gang when they talk about marriage. You gotta really be careful about who you marry. And by the way,
you better.
By the way, we got did Jimmy just come? Yeah, we got Jimmy on the line.
What's up, gentlemen?
Jimmy.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good.
What's happening, boys?
Jimmy.
So I got a little late, man. I didn't was out and I grabbed the when I saw my phone. What's going on, man? What are you guys talking about?
Well, we're talking
as usual.
A little boxing, a little reminiscent about back in the days, getting beat up by girls that, we were banging and they had boyfriends already. They just forgot to mention it to us.
By the way, guys.
Or maybe they did and we didn't care.
We're gonna have to drop off when the Prograis fight starts, because did I say Prograis? Which, so if anybody can tell us when it's starting, so we know we can drop off. But since Jimmy got here, we might as well extend a little bit. First of all, I wanted to bring to your was that? Yeah, okay. I wanted to bring to your attention that Frank Warren wrote an article over at Boxing Scene. It says, Frank Warren breaks down Manny Pacquiao versus Lucas Matthysse. I suggest you go read it. The most interesting part is the one where he talks about that if he would have trained Matthysse, he would have made him do his special dodging training, which includes getting shot at and seeing if you can move faster than the bullets. And he says, if you can dodge bullets like me, then you can dodge Pacquiao's punches. But here's the thing, Jimmy. Pacquiao's going to be taking on...
yes.
Who dropped off, by the way? Oh, okay. Pacquiao, what do you think? You think if he beats Matthysse, it means anything or not?
Personally, no. Myself, but, that's just my opinion. No, this is a payday. To me, that kid that fucking who was hungry and who loved and wanted to learn the sport, that guy's so long gone. Everything now is about the dollar bill. And what put for me an exclamation point on it, I don't care what you think of the trainer Roach. I got my theories on him too, but regardless, they were close. And for him not even to pick up the phone and drop him a fucking, hey, listen, to him to find out the way he did, low rent. So that tells me that he is so about him and so many yes men and so many people kissing his ass and just some of the shit he says. So yeah, I don't think it means anything. because his head isn't in boxing. He doesn't give a fuck. You know, he should have been pissed about losing the horn. Did he even seem like he cared? Seriously?
No,
it almost kind of like he shrugged his shoulders and laughed about it. Whatever. I'm still going to get millions. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? And then it leaves us for all going, oh, what's this mean? I just, you know, it's like, dude, you made your money. You know, you gave us some great memories, dude, but fuck off. But you know what? That's just me.
No, I get the same impression.
And I'm not over what he did. I'm not over the fact that he knew his shoulder was junk, and he knew in order to beat Mayweather, he had to be physically 100%. And he went into that fight knowing he was going to lose because the only thing he cared about his shoulder was fucking strong enough to carry the money.
Yeah, but
and he gave the sport a black eye.
The problem is, Jimmy, that Pacquiao-Floyd saga went on for so long, none of them could pull out because it would have just lost all interest in the fight. I mean, if Manny had pulled out of that fight, then it'd have been a terrible...
No, listen, you know, it was a situation, but look at the alternative. So in turn, we got back.
This is what happens.
You know what I mean?
Sorry, bro, but this is what happens when you don't get early business done. They should have had this fight years ago, and then no one would have said anything. That was just my point.
Then you would exactly. No, you're right. That should have been taken. That stuff should have been taken care of. But listen, first off, Floyd had to make sure he didn't have his power. Come on, let's cut the bullshit. That went on. First, he had a couple of things. He got knocked out. That checked one box, and then he watched him fight. Jesus, he isn't knocking people out. He used to be able to knock out. Yeah, I believe I can fight him now. Come on, that was fucking strategic as it gets.
Jimmy,
as far as I'm concerned,
we've had this discussion before on the show. Some people believe that Pacquiao actually won the fight. How did you have that fight?
What's that? Which fight's that?
Pacquiao Mayweather. Some people actually believe
that. I never watched it.
Are you serious?
Never saw it. Swear to God, I never know. I wouldn't watch. I didn't watch that fight. I didn't order. I swear on. I saw honestly my hand on my dad. Probably a half of one round on YouTube. Maybe 2 years later. I knew what it was going to be. I was trying to tell everybody. I called into the local radio show. I'm like, listen, this is going to be a joke. They played my fucking spot on the radio for like 3 weeks. Yeah, I was saying it's going to be a joke. You don't understand. This is not going to be entertaining. This is going to be a joke. Because everybody heard that Manny was injured. Once I heard his shoulder was fucked up and you heard that rumble, listen, when there's smoke, there's fire. This is too close and too close-knit of a thing, because look at Roach. He says one thing to his mother. Her sisters still live all right around here. Shit gets said. Things get talked about. And I knew that fight was going to, so I didn't, my hand to God, never saw that. And I've tweeted that out. Yeah, I've never saw that fight. I just knew. So I'm glad I didn't miss anything.
One of the most damaging fights to boxing in all the years I can remember. I can't think
made me look like a genius because I was saying that. I was saying, listen, this is going to set boxing back. You don't know because the way it was hyped up, we had radio stations that were flying out to Vegas who never talked about boxing. And I knew it. I'm like, oh, this is so bad. This is going to be so bad. And I'm calling in the show. I'm like, listen, Felger and Maz, I'm like, guys, don't go out there. Because I call in regularly for hockey too, but I'm like, guys, don't go out there for that. And they were like, oh, you were so right. I'll never watch boxing as long as I live. Oh yeah, no. Fucking thing.
When I realized how much damage that fight caused boxing, when I read a lot of the comments, especially from females, because when they're not boxing fans, they'll just tell it how it is, and that they were basically mocking Manny and Floyd. They got sucked into it. They were mocking him for the poor fight.
A lot of housewives.
You got to remember, a lot of these girls are not really boxing fans, bro. They've bought this fight because they've got into the hype, and it was a big fight. Even in the UK, a lot of girls I see that were ordering the fight to watch it, and they were disappointed. A lot of them, they'll just tell you how it is.
Oh yeah, that sucked so many people in the hype train.
Yeah,
and exactly what it was, and. So, yeah, no, it set boxing back forever as far as I'm concerned. In a lot of ways, it's not going to – so, I mean, it puts such a bad taste. I mean, just look at the talent coming out of America since then. All right, in 10 years from now, you'll see a noticeable difference how much United States boxing and what we're producing in talent tails off. I'm just telling you. And these are one of those things, as being an older guy, you can see patterns for them. And that really didn't do the sport no justice. And then Floyd giving an heir apparent didn't help either, but
to be fair, that freak show, Floyd Connor, was a more exciting event to watch. I enjoyed that more than I did the Pacquiao fight.
It was a better fight.
It's crazy. It is what it is. It's a shame.
Manny Pacquiao just did not let his hands go. And Floyd never lets his hands go. So it was a recipe for disaster. It was, do you know what I mean? And the fact that we waited 6 years for it made it worse, I think.
And you know what sucks too? Back in the late 90s, man, when he first came along the scene, when he was Pretty Boy, that fucking kid came in to bang. He'd fight, bloodied up, and he'd bang. It was so that's what sucked, towards the end. That's kind of what made me step away from boxing too, was when he changed the whole money thing. And it was just he was perpetrating a fraud on a fucking niche sport, on a hungry fan base. And he basically pulled everybody's pants down and he rode us to the bank. And we all argued about it on Twitter. You know what I mean? It was a fucking disgrace. And history won't remember him right. Mark my words on that.
Well, listen, speaking of, because I don't want to get into the whole Mayweather thing again, but because I wanted to just mention something real briefly about Canelo versus Triple G, the rematch. Did you guys see what Vanis Martirosyan said about Canelo?
No, I didn't catch that. What did he say?
Well, apparently because Canelo said that, Triple G, he's going to have more problems with me. I'm not Vanis Martirosyan. So Martirosyan didn't take too kindly to those comments, and he went on a social media platform. I don't know if it was Instagram or Facebook, whatever, but he said, I'm quoting here, "Canelo, you bitch. You run the whole fight and cry like a bitch that you won and then take roids for the rematch. I fight on 2 weeks' notice, show up to fight like a man, clean. You know me, puto." So essentially, he's calling him a fag, and a roided up fag at that. Those are his words, not mine, so don't take me to task on that.
Sounds like Vanez knows something about it.
Good for him. You know what I mean?
The thing is, maybe if Varnes had took some peds, he wouldn't have got fucking knocked out in 2 rounds.
But I never understood why. I never understood making a fucking why you want to throw a dig. Why did you know what I mean? Like why dig? Throw a dig at Van. Well, you know what I mean? There's plenty of shit you can say about G. You didn't have to fucking. That was just like a backhand thing. He just opens himself up, for more bullshit. But I agree with Vance. Fuck him for saying shit like that about him.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because listen, I'm throughout this whole Canelo career, I've been a fan of his because I like his skill set and all that. But this past year has been a disappointment. The way he's conducted himself with the whole hand wraps thing and the clenbuterol, and really the way he carried himself after all those allegations. Like he did nothing wrong in his mind. He's like, hey, listen, I got caught. It wasn't me. It was the meat. You can all go get fucked, especially Triple G. And I'm like, come on, man. And you know what the worst part about it is? He just might beat Triple G this time because, again, Triple G is 1 year older. But listen, this middleweight division is starting to shape up. Apparently, Billy Joe Saunders has been ordered to take on Demetrius Andrade. Yeah. Both of those guys
Will Andrade fight him? Is the question.
Well, Andrade's just signed up with Eddie Hearn, so yeah. I think Eddie Hearn would love to get a fight made with Billy Joe Saunders.
Hey, is that me clicking?
Yeah, that's you, man.
Me. That could be me.
That mic again of yours, I think, bro.
It sounds like you.
I switched over to my phone because I had to.
It's not you, recognize. It's not you. It's Jimmy. I think Jimmy. Are you sitting by a fire?
No, somebody just changed something. It's that clicking's gone. I didn't do nothing.
It sounds like you're sitting next to a fire or something, and we can hear the wood crackling and everything.
Yeah, no, I heard that too. And recognize? Didn't you just change something?
Yeah, what I did was I went from my laptop because I'm in the dungeon. I'm in the elevator shaft. So
I think that's what it was, bro. Yeah. Okay. Because I'm like, wait a minute, was that me? Am I clicking again?
Okay, I'm gonna mute. Let me know if you guys can hear it. I'm gonna mute quickly.
Nope, I can't hear anything now. Well, Jimmy, go ahead and talk. See if it's not you.
I don't believe it was me, sir.
All right. Well, I'm not fucking pointing fingers
here. I'm just fucking with you, brother.
It was me. It was me.
I mean, let's be real. At the end of the day, Canelo gets a lot of stick, right?
Right.
He's obviously he's been taking something he shouldn't. Right. He's been exposed, and there's a lot of fighters out there that are taking the same, but just haven't been exposed yet. So Canelo's done wrong, but he's still got the balls to fight Golovkin twice. Well, there's not a lot of fighters out there that even want to fight this guy once. So you have to take your hat off to Canelo. This guy will fight any man. I don't care who he is. Canelo will fight him if the money's right. And that's
I
what
agree. But I agree with BDA too. I think during this whole time, you could see the transformation of his personality when he acted angry towards the Nevada Commission. The fact that he was offended that they were actually going to impose their rules against. It's like, it's me. I'm now, see the marquee, it's me. You know what I mean? So that to me right there, I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. So I agree with BDA 100%.
I have a feeling G is going to beat him up in this fight. I don't know why. I just get that. I get that feeling he's going to win this fight and he's going to beat him up in the fight. I'm not saying stoppage. I'm not saying he's going to stop him, although it wouldn't surprise me. But
I'd like to see Golovkin go back to the old Golovkin a bit. This one that tries to box. I know he's a good boxer, Golovkin. He's got a very good amateur background. He knows what he's doing. But I like that destructive Golovkin.
Yeah, me too.
And I think when Golovkin tries and thinks about his work too much, it gets all a bit predictable, and that's what gives people like Jacobs the way to survive. How Canelo survived, because just got predicted. I like it when he's just coming forward, throwing punches and non-stop, wearing these guys down. Like he did against Kell Brook. I know he was sloppy in that fight, but Kell Brook just couldn't get away from him. He was running for dear life and still couldn't get away from him.
It seems like when he fights the upper echelon, when he fights the upper echelon, it seems like he thinks too much. He's not reacting.
Yeah, when he's
trying to plot everything out too much.
I agree with you, Jimmy. Because when it comes to Danny Jacobs and Golovkin, and now Canelo, I did see that. I did see some hesitation to that. I was wondering what the hell was going on. Was it that he looked at them and said, "Damn, these guys are like bigger, stronger"? Did he see that? I don't think it was necessarily that. I think in his mind, he was like, these are better fighters. Let me take my time with it, right? I don't want to get caught with something off guard, and I got to deal with that. So I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be a little bit more hesitant, which creates opportunities, like you guys were mentioning. You know,
yeah.
If you fight, you can't be too hesitant. That's the one thing you can't do.
You could do smart, educated pressure, which he knows how to do, and without getting caught coming in. Obviously, all fighters are going to get caught coming forward. That's just the game. But this guy's got one of the best chins in boxing, so he needs to when he's fighting these guys, just rely on his chin a bit more. Be more confident in his chin, because he's starting to box these guys and give it like we've all agreed, and he's giving them a way back into the fight. Because when he's coming forward and he's just throwing punches. All these punches hurt. Everyone he throws is hurting, and he's chasing you around the ring. These guys ain't got time to think. They're just all they're thinking about is surviving, and that's
exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's true, isn't it? And
but
that's when Golovkin's at strongest, when he's doing it to opponents. I think when he's sitting there trying to box people and out jab guys, it gets a bit predictable and a bit boring for me. But that's just me.
Hey, BDA, before I have a chance, I just want to say, great video, by the way, brother, on the defense. The Canelo one you just put out.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and by the way, thank you for reminding me.
That's an excellent job.
Thanks, man. Also, just thank you for reminding me as well that if you haven't seen the video, it's over at BDA Live, not at BDA on this channel. It's over at BDA Live. So go check that one out about Canelo's defense. Because again, steroids or no steroids, Canelo has pretty good defense. He knows how to slip shots and block them. Very good reflexes.
You gotta have skills, man. Boxing,
exactly.
I'm tired of that steroid shit. Like. That just look. I agree. I've never taken steroids, so I'm not going to sit here and say that it doesn't give you some kind of advantage. But you still got to know how to shoot them hands, man. If you don't know how to shoot the five the right way, you're going to have problems, man. You're not going to be successful.
Well, I can tell you from someone who did take them.
Canelo does. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I gave a delay. I'm sorry. I thought you'd stopped. I don't mean to talk over you like that. That's ignorant.
No, I was just gonna say, Jimmy, you box as well. So even if you didn't, you watch boxing, so you know the game. You gotta have skills, man. You can't just say I'm gonna, like Barry Bonds with the steroid thing. No, Barry Bonds did good because he was always great. That's why.
Listen, in baseball, steroids help you in baseball because of recovery. Now, think about playing 160 games a year. Those guys play every day. I know it's not a violent sport like football, but it's all recovery. You know what I mean? Like even today, if any of us did something for 3 days in a row, that fourth day, we're going to be hurting, right? Guys on the juice, your body recovers so quick. That's what it's all about. It's recovery. And then I'll tell you right now where it will hurt Canelo if, say, you know what I mean? Because I can't say, you know, definitely, but if he did drugs last time, because if he didn't do just drugs this time, you know, after the first one, I'm going to do him this time. If he's been doing them, he's been doing them. But anyways, if he's not going to have him in his system this time, psychologically is where the problem's going to be. Because I'll tell you, that's the fucking toughest part. It becomes a mental crutch. And especially if he's been fighting regularly on him, that's going to be really hard.
The thing is, though, Jimmy, he had to take Peds to be big enough to fight Golovkin. He's not big enough, bro. He's not a natural middleweight. He's a naturally 154 fighter that just doesn't shed weight very well. I mean, he's very.
Well, I'm telling you from someone physically exercise. I mean, listen, I went to school for it. It's an impossibility for a guy at his age to start cranking on muscle as quick as he did. Lean muscle mass.
Well, this is going to be
almost impossible to doing it where you're running. I'm sorry to get in a delay. I apologize.
That is true.
This was going to be my point. He had to take these Peds to pile that sort of muscle on to be strong enough to compete with Golovkin. And this is my worry in the second fight. If he's not on them Ped, I mean, he looked a big guy in there against Golovkin. I mean, it put on a lot of muscle, didn't he?
That's why. That's why.
So I think without these Peds, I've seen the shape he's in. He doesn't look a natural middleweight for me. He looks a 154 fight. I think the size and the strength. And if Golovkin brings on the pressure and stops trying to outbox Canelo, because for me, Canelo Alvarez is one of the best boxers in the sport. I think Golovkin's got his hands full. If he's going to try and outbox Canelo, he's going to get tagged up all night. I think he needs to. I think it's steamroll Canelo, test his stamina without his Peds, test his heart. Do you know what I mean? Because his chin's been tested, his chin stands up. So you're gonna have to take Canelo to deep waters to beat him.
Well, in my opinion, I thought Canelo. I agree everything what you just said first off, but in my opinion, I thought Canelo looked his worse when G was piling on him. When he can have time to think, like you said, he instantly went into that kind of a cover up, and he was not. That's when he looked his worst. If you give him, because he's such a sharp counter puncher, and you give him that range and time to think and plan his shot out and get you in his right positioning, like you said, Canelo's vicious. He is. He's an unbelievable fighter. If you don't give him his chance to plant his feet and get ready to, you know what I mean? If he's constantly not feeling comfortable, counter punches suck when they're not comfortable. That's what I've always found.
I'll tell you another very good, strong point of Canelo's, his combination punching. I mean, there's not a lot of better sights in boxing when Canelo's letting his hands go with combinations. Just beautiful to watch, very accurate, and they've got pop behind them as well. Golovkin's got a chin of granite, so it's going to be very hard for Canelo to stop Golovkin. So, you know,
it's going to be hard for either guy, right? Like, why don't you just say that? Like, it's just going to be hard for because look, Canelo. I know we get on him and we get on him about his diva demands and his, you know, him being a hypocrite, right? But it doesn't take away that this kid is super strong, and on top of that, he is a very good boxer. And one of the things that I would say all the time in the first fight between Golovkin and Canelo, I would say, why the fuck did Triple G not go to the body? Until I saw BDA's first video. Now, I haven't seen the second video of Canelo's defense, but his video breakdown on the defense that Canelo showed, at least on that fight, to the body, explains to me a lot why a smart fighter like Golovkin stopped going to the body. That's because he was picking them off. He was picking those off, the body shots. Canelo placing his elbows in the right spot, like BDA explained. So to me, the kid is a very good fighter. He is a elite boxer, right? He is an elite boxer. So I'm not going to pick Golovkin to knock him out because I've never seen Canelo get knocked out. So I'm not. And on top of that, he's an elite fighter. What I think is going to happen is that he's going to dominate the fight. It's going to be competitive, but he's going to dominate because of. I think he's going to take your advice to it. He's going to come in and bring the aggression the whole fight. He was smart. He will fight smart when he needs to and try to box and probably lose that exchange. But he's going to mix it up where he's going to show a lot of aggression and box when he needs to.
I think that I think another reason why Golovkin stopped using the body was because when you throw a body shot, you're wide open to a counter shot. You know that you're just wide open, and Canelo's counter shots were tagging him up quite often. To be fair,
I think every time
Golovkin was going, sorry, Jimmy, every time Golovkin was going to the body, he was getting tagged with a right hand or a hook. Do you know what I mean? And that's why.
I understand that mid-range. I understand that finishing off maybe a three-piece combination. You dig to the body and he's ready. But when he had him up against the ropes, though, and he was like almost, buried there, I don't understand why he wasn't digging into the body.
You're right.
That's the one place, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, because I'm sure you guys were saying, all right, what you expected him one, at least go. Yeah, he's got his elbows up tight, bring it, try to tap him up, tap, top to the head, bring his hands up a little. Minute you feel that right shoulder go up, boom, dig one to the liver. And he wasn't doing it.
What I was talking about.
I think the confidence of Canelo on the ropes sort of like
that's what I was
flustered Golovkin, because Canelo was actually seeing all these shots coming. He was rolling the shots. It was a bit of like fucking. It was a bit of rope-a-dope from Canelo at times.
Because it was all coming to the head. It's easy, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it's easy, but because again, he's so skilled. But when everything's coming upstairs, you can get a rhythm going. You can time them. But that's why you got to drop stuff to the body. You got to keep them thinking to the body. That gets the hands down and nothing. I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't care how tough your fucking chin is. You get that one right spot and forget about it. You know what I mean?
Down. Yep. Especially we've seen Golovkin hit guys to the body, and they make the most craziest reactions and faces. And so that's why he did, and that's why going back to BDA's video, and going back to you, both Stewart and Jimmy's point, was what impressed me was how he picked off some of those body shots when Golovkin was pushing him back, trying to get him back towards the rope, or was just pushing him back. That's when he was showing the tight elbow to the body defense. So I was like, that was pretty smart of him. Maybe that's why Golovkin, on top of getting counterpunching and certain parts of the fight, maybe that kind of like discouraged him to go to the body, or made him frustrated and just said, I just want to, I'm going to abandon that. I'm going to jab him and try to catch him with something upstairs.
Do you guys think mentally and psychologically GGG was affected because this was his big breakout fight to the whole world, his biggest fight ever, from the biggest crowd against Canelo, a big star?
Mm-hmm. I think that affected him. I think yes. I think it was. Well, put it this way: the fact that he openly admitted it. You know what I mean? He said it in an interview to Steve Kim. He told, he's like, no, I did it. It became overwhelming. You could remember he looked almost nervous coming to the ring. He didn't look himself. So he got that under his belt now. He knows he won. He knows everybody knows he won that first fight. So he's got that confidence. That's why coming into the second one, if I had to be, you always say to yourself, who would you rather be going into that second fight? For me, I'd rather be Triple G. That's just my opinion.
That's interesting. So
I think Golovkin gave Canelo the chance to rob him by not fighting the right game plan. And I think this time round, I think he's a smart fighter. You don't fight 300 and something fights and only lose a few if you can't adjust tactics. I'm sure, Golovkin, I think he got a bit stale. Got stuck in his old ways, and he didn't really change much yet. But I think he's going to come in a new man sort of thing. I think that what Canelo's done to him has made him an angry man. And I think when Golovkin's angry, I think he's unstoppable. So I'm going to pick Golovkin to win that one. But Canelo Alvarez is one of the best fighters in boxing. I really enjoy watching this guy fight. I just don't think he's a middleweight. I think if he went back down to 154, he's the best guy in the division for me.
Wow, that's high praise indeed, there.
Can he go back to 154? Stu? You think he could? You think he could go back down there?
Well, since he stopped taking the peds, he's looking more like he could. I mean, when you take peds, a lot of it's muscle you got to lose, and when you lose.
Well, historically speaking, I'm sorry.
Go on, Jimmy.
No, I was just going to say, historically speaking, going back down never usually works out well. If you look out throughout history, the guys who have tried it, vast majority of the time, it hasn't worked out well for the guys who do it.
You're losing muscle weight, right? I mean, Jimmy, like you're a guy who worked out big time. I tried this one time myself, and I can tell you that at the beginning it wasn't good. Dropping muscle weight is so, like, people don't understand. Like, that could fuck you up, like you said, mentally. When you're not taking something, when I don't drink coffee to work before I work out, there's something mentally there. The workouts don't go as smoothly as I expected them to go. When I drink coffee, I'm good. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, but this could suit Canelo because without the muscle, he's going to be quicker. His punches are going to be flowing a lot quicker. He's going to feel sharper, and he's going to feel like he's got more energy. Muscle burns energy, you know that. The more muscle you got, the more stamina you lose. You know, so I think it could suit Canelo, but it's just the strength of Golovkin is, for me, it might be just too much for him.
That's interesting, and I want to get back to Apology's point about Triple G maybe melting a little bit during the big lights. Well, again, I can't see who subscribed, but whoever subscribed, shout out to you. You are the man. I want to go back to Apology's points about Triple G maybe not fighting the way he wanted to because of the bright lights of the big event. So what do you guys think? Do you think that if Triple G, who is going to be probably more comfortable now in a rematch, do you think he should go all out and just start launching hooks? Could he get knocked out? Does Canelo have the power to dent his chin and put him out cold? Or just to get his respect?
Well, he kind of has to. He kind of has to, because if he doesn't, you'll probably get robbed again. So yeah. I would say go for it.
Yeah, I think Canelo has the power to knock out anybody. Anybody can get caught. It's just all about how flush you get caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's all about, look, let's be real. If Canelo stands, if he stands with Golovkin in the first fight, even with all the nervousness, he gets stopped. He had to backpedal. You have to understand, he's not backpedaling because he wants to, and he's like, oh yeah, he had no choice. He had to backpedal because he felt the pressure of the punches. Now, let's say he would have said, I got to stand my fucking ground no matter what, and trade with him. The fight, he would have stopped him. He would have beat him by accumulation, or maybe catches him with one of those punches that he doesn't see coming and takes him out.
John makes me laugh though about a lot of boxing fans. When they say Amir Khan was schooling Canelo for all them rounds, no, he wasn't. Go back and watch that fight. Canelo was in second gear, right? Just having a look at Khan, waiting for the time to step up the gears and take this guy out. I think you had to let the fight go a few rounds for the buying customers because it was a mismatch. But watch that fight again. Canelo was never in any trouble, never getting outboxed. It was a matter of time. As soon as he started up in the gears, Khan was starting to fall.
I thought he was winning the fight before he knocked him out. I think
I might.
Hey Stu, you know what I tweeted?
Up around myself.
What I tweeted out after that fight, I said it was when somebody was in my timeline saying it was, well, he was losing. I said, listen, buddy, losing my ass. That was a sucker punch that took 5 rounds to take place. That's all that was. That was preordained.
Because Canelo wanted it to take 5.
Exactly.
I would agree there. I think he saw it coming. Now, changing subjects a little bit before we go. I don't know if you guys were, if you saw the Alex Saucedo fight last week on the undercard of the Zurdo Ramirez fight. This Saucedo kid, I don't know, did any of you watch that fight?
I'm afraid I didn't watch it, man. So.
Oh boy.
I did.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. Yeah.
I liked him.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going anywhere with that type of...
Well, he's not that style. It's the first kid who can really bang. He's one of those guys who's always going to give you the entertaining fight until he gets slept. You can't continue to fight that way, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, listen.
What did you think?
Yeah?
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you think of him? Did you enjoy the fight?
Well, just real quick, I enjoyed the fight, yeah, but I mean, this guy's got no defense, man. He was getting plastered. And it brings me to the other point that I wanted to bring up, that Prograis is going to be fighting in a couple of minutes, I guess, or maybe I don't know. I don't know if there's another fight going on right now, but he's going to be fighting. He says that he expects Baranchyk to make it to the final along with him. This 140-pound division, even, listen, let me put up the rankings again, all right? The 140-pound rankings according to Ring TV. This division is starting to shape up pretty well, all right? You got lower guys in the lower 10, like Baranchyk, but he's pretty dangerous. He's in the tournament. Lipinets, who's not in the tournament, but he's pretty dangerous. Maurice Hooker. Oh, shit. I didn't even put the rankings. There we go. Maurice Hooker, who's 24-0. He's the unknown element in this tournament, but we'll see what he can do. You got Troyanovsky. You got Relic, who's a beast as well. Josh Taylor and Prograis. Now, I got to tell you something. Even if two guys that aren't in the tournament are Antonio Orozco and Jose Ramirez. Ramirez and Orozco are sluggers of, I wouldn't say the elite level, but they're pretty good sluggers. They know what to do. Saucedo cannot stand in there with any of them. Not the way he fought Zapavinha last week. He gets caught too much. He got all busted up. And then he had the tenacity, or the audacity rather, to tell Ramirez, he said, hey, listen, I'll fight you next week. This after him being all stitched up from having cuts and probably, 90-day suspension probably from the commission. And he says, yeah, I'll fight Ramirez next week. Now, obviously, that's some bravado, but he shouldn't be saying that type of shit if he knows he's not going to be fighting. I mean, come
insult,
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit of an insult. But anyway, yeah, that's just I just wanted to point that out about Saucedo. Entertaining fighter. He's with Freddie Roach, I think. No, who was trying? No, sorry. What's his name?
Wasn't it?
Abel Sanchez. Sanchez.
Sanchez.
Yeah. And Sanchez better, he likes to talk about defense and Golovkin and having the best horse in the world. Yeah, man, he better teach this horse some new tricks. Otherwise, he's not going to last long. But that's all I want to say about that.
Hey, funny about the 140-pound division, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, it was lousy.
A year ago.
It was like when Postel it was just pretty much Postel and Crawford. It was like, wow, so weak. It's crazy how quick it can change, huh? It's to be one of the stronger ones now.
Absolutely, man. That's what I love about boxing is 1 year, one division can look like crap, and then the next one, it starts looking pretty good. Speaking of pretty good, yes.
And we talked about the bantamweight tournament as well.
I haven't mentioned it. You wanna say something about that?
I'm just excited. Yeah, that's it really.
Okay.
But for me, that's the if all them guys turn it and then fights happening, that would be the best world boxing series we've had so far. I know the cruiserweight one was great, it was, but there's some real exciting fighters on that.
The cruiserweight tournament got really competitive towards the final four, right? Like the final four guys, because the other matches were kind of like blowouts.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Except Regis and Mike. The fuck is his name? Perez.
Mike Perez. Yeah.
That fight was.
Oh, anybody hear anything about the Cuban that Garcia fought? Is he supposed to be fighting again soon? Yeah.
He should be, man. Yeah. He should be.
Right.
He should be fighting because he took. Yeah, he took. Yeah. I mean, he took a nice ass whipping, especially as the fight went along. But you ride
that wave. He gained respect in a loss. You know what I'm saying? He fought well. He fought tough. He should have been, like you said, unless it's an injury, but let it be known because he's kind of fading away, right?
Yeah. Unless he's, like he made good money. He's like enjoying it with his family. And like, look, I'm giving myself a timetable to get back in the ring. That was a heartbreaking loss to me, because he cried after losing that damn fight. So you never know.
Well, he spoke a big game. He spoke a big game before the fight, so I guess he was all emotionally invested in that one. And that's what happens when you're so emotionally invested and you talk so much about how you're gonna beat the other guy when things don't go your way.
I think with Gassiev as well, he's so young. I think you're best off getting him when he's young. I mean, in 2 or 3 years' time, Gassiev is going to be some force, I'm telling you.
Right.
Barring some injury or some major, like a devastating loss where he not only loses and he loses something in the ring, that guy's just going to continue to get better. The time, like you said, Stuart, the time to beat him is now. You don't want to fight this guy tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Because he's just going to get better.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. A couple of weeks ago, when Precise used to come on the show, he said that Usyk, he was pretty adamant about that Usyk was gonna school Gassiev, and I was like, nah, I don't know about that. I was rewatching Gassiev versus Lebedev, and how easily Lebedev was hitting Gassiev with a jab, and then I rewatched Usyk versus Brady's, and I saw how good Usyk's right jab is. So I said, my goodness gracious, I think maybe Precise is right. I think Usyk ends up schooling this version of Gassiev.
Hey, if you don't mind me asking, what happened? You said, what, he doesn't call in anymore?
Well,
he's not in on the panel?
He's doing he revamped his channel. He's no longer focusing on boxing for the moment. I don't know if that's going to change in the future. Never really know with Precise.
He's doing Jimmy, he's doing more like political stuff now.
Yeah.
And I think I think his plan is to just leave boxing. I don't know if it's good or maybe just for a little while.
And by the way, I think he's asking. I think he wants to be banned because some of the subjects that he's been going after, it's one of those subjects that you know what I'm talking about. Like you touch on. There's one subject in particular that if you go after it, oops, all of a sudden. Well, I didn't say it. Didn't say it. I just said there's a subject out there that you don't want to touch.
I see one title in my subscriptions where he's calling Tommy Robinson a Zionist shill.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Did you see the video
with that as well?
And it's interesting. All of a sudden, all these people that were calling him racist and this and that, now that he's off boxing, all of a sudden they don't care about him anymore. Because he's not saying it. He never said anything that was racist. It was just he stuck to boxing, and all the racist boxing fans, they were projecting their own worldviews on him. But now that he's dealing with subject matter that's beyond their grasp, all of a sudden they got nothing to say.
It's a shame because boxing's lost a good commentator. You know, the guy, I enjoy listening to him talk boxing, and he was a great addition to this show. And this is the problem with the boxing community, especially on YouTube. It's just a cancer, bro.
I concur. I enjoyed his views and his comments. Very, very sharp guy. I wish him the best.
Yeah, so do I, man.
When somebody attacks, I'm gonna take a phrase that Precise likes to say. You know, don't attack the person's character. Attack his opinion. That's the problem with boxing channels, is that they go after the person, not the opinion of the person, right? Like, go after that. Go say, look, this is what I don't like about what you have to say. But just calling somebody a racist is just like, that word is so watered down now. Okay, it's so watered down now that it
means nothing.
It means nothing anymore.
Carries no weight.
You know,
carries no weight.
I know white people that have been called racist their whole life. That now, if you call them that, they look at you like, yeah, whatever. You know, it's like,
yeah,
nobody believes you no more. Nobody believes it no more because you use it too much. You use it. I sit there and I say, no, I like the lighter skinned girl. Let's just say, for example, I like the lighter. Oh, you just do that because you're a racist.
Well, can I say something?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, can let me say something about that, because it's an interesting distinction to be made between the comments in certain videos and then the comments that you see on other videos. For example, when you see people that are coming at boxing from a racist perspective, or they're using strawman arguments and a whole bunch of other rhetorical tools that don't really make much other than being what it is, rhetoric, you see comments like #truth, or, you know, you speaking the truth, brother, keep on speaking the truth, you dropping bombs of knowledge, but they don't expand upon what the other person said. Now, I don't want to dick right Precise here, but when you go to his channel and you look at the comment sections, people are expanding upon what he says. It's not just the truth, that's right, brother, the truth. Like, you know what I'm saying? So essentially what these people go for is a little dopamine hit. They go to a YouTube channel that repeats what they like to hear, or the way they think the world is, and they get that little dopamine hit of somebody validating their opinions and their worldview, and then they go back to YouTube or other chat rooms or whatever, and they come back for more the next time. They're not really interested. But anyway, listen, we've talked about that in the past.
Can I tell you what it is? Lowlife's pandering to the lowest common denominator. Fuck them. It's all they are. Insecure douchebags. See some of the shit they say about people. Like, I don't understand. So what? You don't like if they don't like Dan, it's Fat Dan. You know what I mean? Like, really? So he's fat.
Right.
You know, like, why is that even? If they just attack the writer's looks, people say horrible shit about Steve Kim, about fucking Michael Woods, everything. It's just crazy. Like you said, you're 100% right. It's nuts.
And when you're like a sort of a grown man, shall we say, that's got your own home and you got kids and so on. I mean, you don't really need these little fucking weasels just trolling you in your comment sections, calling your names, because it's just tiring. And I can see where Precise is coming from, because I've closed channels down because I used to get it myself, just because you have a different opinion to them. They're sitting there abusing you and that lot. And let's be real, we don't get paid to do this. This is just a hobby that we do, and it just gets out of hand. And I can see where Precise is coming from, because the fact this podcast, I wouldn't be on YouTube if it weren't for this podcast, but this podcast offers me a bit of security, because people can come on the comment section and call me a name and that lot, but I won't see it because I'm not getting notifications every fucking 30 seconds of someone calling me a Brit tosser or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I will not have my own channel ever again, because it's a toxic community, the boxing community.
You know what's weird, Stuart? I'll look at my subscription, right? Like some of the people that are subscribed to me, and I'm surprised. Like I always get dislikes, which I don't care. I mean, it's you do whatever you want with it. You either thumb down or thumb up. I could care less. Yeah. But I'm like, why is this person subscribed to me? What I talk about has nothing to do. He doesn't. I know that going by this person's videos, they totally disagree with me. Right? And so I look at the thumbs down. I'm like, okay, maybe that's the reason why. They just see my video. I've had videos that had 0 views and like 1 thumb down already.
What?
I'm like, fuck out of here, right? Which is fine. You could look once you put your videos out there, you're subject to criticism. And some people will like it, some people won't like it. It is what it is.
But the thing is, though, you could try and keep as many people sweet as possible, but you'll never do it. You will never keep everybody happy. You could do a great video, and 20 people will think you're telling facts and say, "Well, yeah, spot on, Stuart. I totally agree with you." But there'll always be 1 or 2 that come on. Well, you don't know shit about boxing.
And then come on,
it's just. It's going to get.
Names. They have these weird names. I have this one guy. He constantly like, "You're soft. You are soft. No wonder you like Anthony Joshua." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I never even said that I'm a huge fan of Anthony Joshua. All I said was, I think he's in the stronger position right now.
Yeah.
When it comes to ball, I'm just calling the way I see it. I mean, is he not making $15 million a fight?
I mean, I did a video about Terence Crawford's resume. Next minute, I got some guy, "You motherfucker, come Chicago."
Well, listen, you know what that is?
Because I said about Terence.
That comes down to this. Like I said earlier, that American boxing is dominated by blacks. It just is what it is. It's been that way for years. But because there's so many other sports, they're just not getting into boxing. Like I said, Mayweather thing didn't help, that fight. But because of that, there's still a lot of hardcore black boxing fans, and they can't deal with the fact that the fucking Europeans, the Russians, boxing itself is growing globally, UK, everywhere, right? All the best fighters are no longer guaranteed to be out of this, and they don't know how to deal with it. So they're taking a stance of almost like, fuck that, and they're getting aggressive, and it's just going to get worse. The more Europeans get better, it's just going to get worse. It's going to get nastier.
Yeah, so then that means that they were never really boxing fans. They were a bunch of race trolls, essentially. Bunch of race.
It always ends up that way, man.
They're boxing fans, but they're more into. Look, I could say this: they are boxing fans, right? But what they're more into are the description of the fighter. Okay, the description of the fighter, and it has a lot to do with culture and race. Are very connected in a lot of ways, but look at Anthony Joshua. Is he not black? Is he not a black guy? He is, right? He's from Africa. He's from Nigeria. They at least the American boxing fans, the Black American boxing fans. If you didn't know Anthony Joshua and what he looked like and the way they were going after him and all the nasty comments they say, you would think that Anthony Joshua was like, you know, fucking white or Israeli or some shit like that, right? You had no idea what the hell he. But then if you look at him, you'll be like, holy. Look, I'll give you an example. And I had no idea how big this was, right? I know it's big on YouTube. On one of my social media pages, there's this girl that I've known for years. And she obviously likes Anthony Joshua. She's from America. She when I say she likes him, she's physically attracted to him because she put a picture of him and said, "This is my ideal." She said, "This is my ideal man." I couldn't believe the hate comments she was getting. She actually responded, "Who the hell is Wilder? I don't even know who that is."
Oh.
Yeah, she actually didn't even say. She was like, "Damn." She was like, "I'm just commenting that this guy's a good-looking man." That's.
Do you know one thing I've noticed about? Do you know one thing I've noticed about a lot of the Black American boxing fans? Right, you'll hear a lot of good channels out there where Black Americans talking boxing straight down the middle, keeping it real, and it really interesting to listen to. Good points. Barely can scrape 1,000 subscribers. But you've got this hate preacher that just basically race baits and plays the victim all year round in 78 Sports TV. He's got 70,000 subs nearly, I think. I mean, this is where a lot of them are going down. They've seen 78 get successful of playing this route, and that's what they're doing.
And that's the one thing I hate, Stuart. I hate race pimps. I like these. Yeah. Whether they're aware that they're a race pimp or they're not, but they're playing that sympathy role.
They know exactly what they're doing.
I hate that because it sends such a bad message to people that are like lost. They're already lost, right? They're already lost. Then you listen to a guy who's just leading them down. Like, you can't never make it because you're a black man. Remember that. Like, first of all, don't say that to anybody from my family. I'll smack the shit out of you. Because I don't want you around my family poisoning them like that.
Exactly.
Okay? Telling them that they can't make it because the way they look. Like, I hate people like
built
that.
An excuse for failure.
He'll say that, innit? He'll say you can't make it. Next minute, oh, by the way, thanks for the $20 donation.
While this motherfucker's living in a nice house.
Keep the donations coming, peeps.
Oh man!
Listen, and I'm not saying it's 78. I don't know how he's living. I don't care.
You just said it.
How he's living, but no, I'm saying like I don't know personally if he's making a lot of money or not. You know, I really don't care for that guy. But I know people like that. Like there's a lot of politicians that they live in New York. In New York, these politicians will come out there and they'll be like, yeah, you know, the cops are against you, everybody's against you, and I'm from the community. And you ask them where they live in the most beautiful white neighborhood in the world, where there's security to keep the people that are supposedly away from those communities, okay?
Right.
Because they know.
Absolutely.
It's like Tariq. Is it Tariq Nasheed? Is it Tariq Nasheed?
Yeah, that's another motherfucker. I don't
that
like
guy.
him.
Hey, that guy, right? He calls the white people the devil every day on his podcast. Yet he lives in a white gated community.
Of course he does.
Like I always tell people, don't forget what people say. Focus on their actions. And a lot of these, a lot of these people, you know, they'll talk about this, they'll talk about that, and then like Recognize said, you look where they live. Well, look at that predominantly white neighborhood, gated community. I mean, come on. You got to get your act together a little bit.
I think, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to live in a safe neighborhood. Don't get me wrong. You should want that if you got family and you got kids. But don't lie. Don't tell people, look, tell them the truth. Listen, if you know how you stop going to jail, stop doing crime. That's one. You know how you get ahead in life? Don't knock a girl up and then take off, okay? Because your kid is going to suffer from that. That's what's going to happen. Okay? Tell them the truth.
Yeah, it's like calling white people trailer trash and then going buying a trailer and living with them. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You know, if someone's the devil, you do not want to live near the devil. I mean, I know I don't. So they're just, and I think this is where boxing, the community has gone wrong, because a lot of people have jumped on 78 Sports TV brand, shall we say, seeing how it's grown, and he's making money from it. And I think they're trying to go down race-based.
It's a reflection of today's media.
Yeah.
I was just going to say it's a reflection of today's media. It's all a reflection of today's media. The left is just pushing an agenda, and that's just how it is. It's just an in thing right now. You know, the microaggressions. Suck my balls.
Oh,
like,
what type of language
it's gotten out of control.
And what is
fucking
creating
everything?
It's creating.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. Go ahead. I was going to.
No, you go, brother. You go.
No, I was just going to say that's creating. That's creating more groups to want to separate. Look, there's nothing wrong. If you, I truly believe that every human being has the right to associate who they want to, whether it has to do with race, whether it has to do with religion, whatever it is, whatever makes you feel safe, and you shouldn't be penalized for that. You shouldn't be, destroyed in the public eye. I truly believe that. But when all you're doing is accusing one group of people and saying, look, your problems are because of those people. You know what's going to happen when you keep attacking those people? They're going to organize together to protect themselves and not trust nobody. Why would I, if you keep coming after me, why would I trust you? Everything I do. Oh, you see, that's part of the devil's plan. Look. Somebody robbed this house. I had nothing to do with it. Yeah, let's blame him.
Just look at the numbers especially the white militias in America. I mean, they've got their own armies.
Right. What you're doing is perpetuating.
What do you think Trump was?
What
do you think Trump was? Trump was white America's answer. That's what that was. They were scared.
Yeah.
Why do you think white America ran out and voted for the guy saying, I'm going to put up a wall and I'm going to do this, no more Muslims? He hit a nerve, an undertown, nerve of these guys my age who don't go on Twitter, aren't on social media, but they're scared. You know what I mean? Most Americans, and that's why Trump played that and got voted in.
I actually read somewhere that they had some information that there was good. If Trump hadn't won, if Clinton had won, there was on the brink of civil war where militias were going to try and overturn the government because they couldn't handle another 4 to 8 years of Democrats ruining their country. They were actually willing to go. These militias were actually willing to go and try and overturn the government. So,
they got militias in Wisconsin with 10,000 members. One militia in Wisconsin got like 10,000 members, and some of the units were trained by ex-Navy SEALs.
The thing is, they're
no joke, well-funded. So
I don't see the American army. I think if the government tried to turn the American army against its own people, I don't think they'd turn on their own people.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't think they would either. But at the same time, when you see what's happening in the media, okay, look. You're being played, and there's a certain group of people that are being attacked the most. If you open your eyes, you will see it. You will see who everybody's being attacked by the media, okay? Because they're trying to play us all against each other, playing identity politics, right?
White males right now, we're like endangered in the United States. We're the target. We're like the lowest of the low, the white male.
I'm happy you said that, Jimmy, because I try to stay away from that. But that's exactly what I see.
It's the white straight male, bro.
It's the white straight male. They're constantly attacking the white straight male. That's it. It's to the point where I can't blame them for saying,
all right, now
this, I can't deal with this. I can't trust anybody.
I hate
when it's brought up to me, right, real quick, and I'll let you go, Stu. When it's mentioned to me, white privilege, that bullshit, I just say, okay, well, can you explain if it's white privilege? Why are Indians and Asians per capita the most successful race in the United States? And you get crickets.
Yeah. Go to Malaysia.
They don't know what to say.
If you was to go to Malaysia, in Malaysia right now, there are laws in place. Unlike America, there are laws in place that discriminate against Chinese, which is one of their biggest what's the word I'm looking for? Non-Malaysians, right? The biggest group, right? So
ethnic group, yeah.
Ethnic group, excuse me, right? They're one of the biggest ethnic groups. They certainly are not the majority. There are certain rules in place to stop them from doing certain things, votes for very important stuff. And guess what? They still succeed when it comes to academics and certain jobs. They still overrepresent certain things because why? They're dedicated to it. That's it. It's this whole narrative that there's some fucking white supremacy flying in the air. They're shooting people down, you know, and they mainly going after blacks and Latinos. Stop that already, man. Look, the numbers are what they are. They are what they are. Here in America, when it comes to crime, again, this doesn't mean that it's all blacks or all Spanish, because certainly there's way more blacks and way more Spanish people that don't engage in this kind of behavior. But however, when it comes to crime, it's a black and Hispanic thing. It is.
But let's be real.
It just is.
The best thing that happened to white supremacy was Barack Obama. This guy, man, he helped them grow their numbers because it was dying off in America for me. We started to get quite liberal and it had a nice balance. But Obama came along and brought his cultural Marxism with him, and he just totally turned everyone against, especially white straight males. And it became a hate against the police. It became a hate against it. It's just everyone was protesting against everything. Right, race relations went to shit. I mean, do you know what I mean? And
under the black president, the race relations have been worse in my lifetime now since Obama.
All right, guys, I'm sorry to be the prick to do this.
I am a prick.
But the Prograis fight is about to start. So I guess we cut this short. We leave it for another time. I gotta ask you guys how the fuck we get from boxing, and then we talk to about cheating, and then we go back to boxing, and then we end up talking about race relations in America. But that's just
because boxing sucks and there's nothing to talk about.
Don't forget I brought up Mayweather too.
Don't worry about it, guys. Well, listen, I'm sorry. Again, I'm sorry to cut it short. Apparently, you already started the fight, so. I'll tell Bucho to do a
Thank you for having us on.
Oh, no, thank you guys for being on. I should be thanking you guys. I'll tell Bucho, man, to do a second Renaissance during the week, or maybe, you know, because I want you guys to have a forum to speak about this. Then again, I don't want BDA Boxing to get shut down. So, worst case scenario, second Renaissance gets shut down. You guys can say whatever you want over there. But thanks again for joining us, guys.
Where is Bucho?
Bucho's, he's busy today, man. It's...
BDA, you know the fight you took and it's just started. Is that on the Pacquiao undercard?
No, this is a different one. It's on ESPN, and then
I'm looking for it. I can't find it.
It's on the ESPN app. They're fighting in Louisiana.
ESPN Plus.
Oh, okay.
If you haven't joined, you can get the first month for free. If not, it's $4.99 a month.
It's going to have to be a free stream. Then I'm not paying for ESPN. Fuck that.
All right, guys.
I don't care too much for the San Antonio Spurs and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Listen, you guys all be safe, all right?
All right, Jimmy. Thanks for being on, man.
Take care. Be safe. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being on,
gentlemen.
Guys,
it was great speaking.
Oh yeah, we went 3 hours. It went by fast. I gotta tell you that much right now. I think, by the way, I think the guy that's always trolling you on your channel, I think that might just be the guy that caught you with his wife. So I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but
it could be him, man.
You never know. Anyway,
I don't want no smoke with him, man. He was too big for me.
I want to thank Stu for being on. He just left. I want to thank Recognize You as well, and I want to thank Apology for being in here, and Jimmy as well. Check out Recognize
Peace BDA, Peace Apology.
Take it easy, man.
See ya.
Go check fuck yourself, X.
Check out tomorrow. Perhaps, maybe after the World Cup. I don't know. We'll see. I try to, man. I've been very busy this past few weeks working on some stuff. But thanks again for being on, man. Apology, Recognize. Check out their channels on YouTube. Apology Man on YouTube, and Recognize the Matrix as well. So guys, thanks again for being on. I want to thank everybody that was in the chat room. Nino Gachi, Shepherd of Sons, Overhand, Chris Gonzalez, Roti Davis, Reese Mack. Did I say Boxing Style? I think I did. Really? Nostalgia Music. Who else was here? King Bucha was in the chat room. Was Alan Domireki. And many more. So Globalist. God Hates Globalist. My goodness. Jan, Ray, Manuel. And everybody else, you know, guys know who you are. I'm fumbling because I want to get to the fight. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you on the next one, folks. Take care.